Hey, it is Tuesday, March the 14th, 2017. You are listening to the Giant Bombcast. I'm Brett Shoemaker. Jeff Gersman.
Hello.
Back from PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thrilled about it. Jason Astrager, back from PAX.
Yo, hey, here I am, back from PAX.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah,
I feel like I just got here.
You made it.
Yeah.
Peter Brown of GameSpot fame, back from PAX?
No,
No?
not this time.
No PAX?
Nope.
For you?
Nope,
One
sadly.
One of the lucky ones. Okay. Drew Scanlon,
Hello.
What? Back from parts unknown.
Well,
The-
I was just in San Francisco.
The wild... Oh.
There are a lot of parts in San Francisco that are maybe better
Pretty
left
wild.
unknown.
Yeah,
My pad.
That is
Wild.
Wild.
Yeah. I bet.
It's a jungle in there.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
After your banner 24 hours. How's it going?
Great.
Yeah.
I hope I remember how to do this with
Yeah.
microphones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Already been doing some troubleshooting over there.
I mean,
since
you were
came in,
you were
so-
able to put clothes on and leave the house, so
Yes.
like you're already kind of
Yeah, unlike yesterday, which was sweatpants and no lunch
Yeah.
and
Nice.
yeah.
didn't see
happen.
the sun.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
You got some new business going.
I do, yes.
Although I got to warn you, our business guy said it's going to cost you if you want to talk about it. You have to take it up with him.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
I've got
Sounds like you're making the money
I don't think
to
you're
afford it.
Whoa. Just going there. So what's going on?
Street digs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started a thing.
Some travel-loggy kind of business?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a Patreon.
Yes. So it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See, I do this podcast with a guy named Danny O'Dwyer.
Mhm.
He's got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's it's something I always wanted to do. And it just I wanted to get out into the world by myself.
Yeah.
And just try weird stuff.
Do some traveling.
Do some traveling.
See the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured what kind of a project does that look like?
Yeah.
And I came up with one.
Yeah.
And it's called a cloth map.
Okay. Where could people go read more about that?
They can go to clothmap.co.
Couldn't get .com.
Couldn't get .com.
Did you try to get .com?
I tried to get
Okay.
.com. He wanted a lot of money.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
people with terms like that have a .com, whenever you roll up on them, they usually
That one, but that one doesn't seem like remotely well
It's
known
two like
enough.
dictionary words, I
guess.
Yeah.
Is that where we're at? Like any two like comprehensible English words put together is a valuable domain now.
Maybe.
There were
Although
there were definitely like when Dave Snyder was getting out there and registering domains and starting up some stuff. Like I know that they were like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to actually get a little spendy on this domain or whatever.
Really?
it
On
was.
this one?
Yeah, on
Somebody
no, on
squatting?
some of his other stuff.
Was somebody squatting this one, or was it?
Oh, on
just,
giantbomb.com?
was it just
No,
free? Was it open?
no,
I thought it was
giantbomb.com
open.
was available.
available?
No, I'm talking about years after that.
Yeah.
No, that was one of the most attractive things about naming it Giant Bomb was that we were able to get giantbomb.com.
Yes.
One point we had a big list of like there was some guy who was a domain broker or whatever, and he had a zillion domains that he was looking to
he
sell.
opened up his trench coat.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. Like we had just this
One
huge
by
list,
TLD.
and it was like, oh, we can get a deal on these ones because Shelby knows the guy or whatever it was.
Oh, I remember that spreadsheet going around.
Yeah, and we
at one point.
like poured over this list, and we're just like, this is all terrible. But I think that might have been where thwomp.com came out of. That might have been on that list. And
That one might have been a little sticky.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, naming our stuff after like a Nintendo character just seemed kind of lame all around.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we didn't go that route.
Yes.
I did not have cloth map for Twitter or Instagram
Mhm.
Until I launched, and like a few minutes after I hit the launch button, guy with cloth map at Twitter is like, "Hey, I'm a Giant Bomb fan.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I'd
Wow.
be willing to relinquish cloth map."
That's some serendipity.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was it was awesome.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we wish you well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it's like a bit of a whirlwind right now, but like, is there kind of any ETA on when people can expect to kind of hear like, okay, here's what's going to happen, here's the timetable for our first thing, like that sort of stuff? Or
I mean, nothing more concrete than soon. Like it was really tough to plan that stuff because you don't know what kind of scale or what
Right.
kind of scope that
Yep.
you're able to do until you launch and have a number to work with. But
Right.
now I have a number to work with. I can actually start planning and stuff. But right now it's just been like, first week housekeeping stuff,
right,
troubleshooting and
Gotta figure out how to run a business.
It seems
Well,
like,
yeah,
it
weird
seems like
business
everyone
stuff.
who goes up on Patreon has some kind of Discord issue.
yeah. part of it's my fault, part of it's a bug.
Yeah.
But I'm working with their support team. They're getting fixed.
Yeah, I know the Video Game History Foundation, when they launched their stuff, there were some people that just never got into the Discord, and like after a week or so, it finally got fixed. But it seems like that's kind of that happened with Danny's as well. So
Yeah.
Do they hook directly into Discord? Do they,
Yeah,
they
it's like
work
an
together?
API,
Okay, that's cool.
webhook or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a whirlwind. That's exactly the name for it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff to keep in mind, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started an LLC.
Yeah. Wow.
Got that limited liability.
Nice. It's clean living right there.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Wipe your hands of it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone died with something not me, man.
That ain't me.
Yeah.
My liability is limited.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't pin it on me. PAX.
PAX.
How was PAX?
It was good.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I might have yelled a lot.
Is it? But you're not sick.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not sick.
This is
No
a
PAX
yelling
box.
This is
ailment.
look. I stood on a stage and yelled for about 2 minutes straight with a throat full of confectioner's sugar,
Aha.
and that was that.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So then our panel was 3 hours after that. I was like, oh,
Nice.
well, all right. PAX stuff.
Yeah,
This is how it
sure.
works, right?
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. It was a good time. The show floor is like impossibly busy now.
And bigger than like I think normally. I remember
Especially
damn
maybe-
near having a panic attack, getting halfway down and realizing shit, there is so much more here. that,
Especially
man,
in
I still need
Boston,
to
where
see.
the whole thing is one gigantic room.
Well, Boston is now the biggest PAX. I think
Right.
that's part of why
Yeah.
they changed.
But
the
you know,
name.
like at least in Seattle, I mean, like the layout of that place is a nightmare to keep track
Yeah.
of. But at least it's broken up into different sections, so
Right.
it splits the crowd. But
So
yeah,
the-
Boston is just a morass of humanity.
There's always that divider that divides video games and board games in Boston.
Yep.
But like, and in the board game section, there's always like a little more free space.
Yeah.
Did they just like move the divider more and more into the board
probably.
game?
I don't know. Well, now that's like now the Indie Mega Booth has a board game section and also like a like I want to say like a visual novel section or graphic novel section, like all kinds
and
of
like
other
a
stuff.
regional, like there's like an Australian one that I didn't
Yeah,
even
like
see
PAX
until
Australia.
like Sunday.
The curators of PAX Australia had an area that they could put their stuff
Wait,
in
what?
as well.
Paxes and Paxes?
Yeah, they had a PAX inside a PAX.
But there's
Yeah, you wanna come to
there's
PAX?
a one for China as
Yeah.
well. It was
So
huge.
they had a there was a so the thing they changed was that they stopped selling 3-day passes for PAX, and it used to be that they would sell a 3-day pass and then no one would go on Friday, so Friday would be a little emptier. As a result, now Friday is fucking crazy, just like the other days, or even crazier. I don't know. Like we went down there for a while. It felt impossible to see anything. We wandered around a little bit and just kind of like watched some games here and there, but it just felt like a lost cause at some point. So, yeah.
It's tough to play. I think PAX is the toughest for at least press to play, at least for me.
I mean, we could have made a dozen appointments or like and seen everything that way. Like,
Yeah.
like we have options
I always
available to
hated
us.
cutting in line, though,
yeah,
at PAX.
exactly. So
At E3, it's like, look, I got a job to do. But
Yeah.
PAX is like,
Yeah.
well, these
Well, also at E3, typically everybody else there is also there to do a job, so you don't feel bad about getting
Not
in
everybody.
somebody's way.
Yeah,
Well,
come
no,
on.
not everybody,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
PAX is much more like people are fans and they're paying to be there, so you don't want to be a dick and,
Yeah.
and get in their way.
It is fun though to go to the kiosks that don't have anybody and then go, all right, what we got? Like that's
yeah.
man, I love PAX. I wish I went to PAX. That was fun.
Yeah. It was a good time. We did our panel, which will go up on the site here in the relatively
yeah,
near
probably
future.
tonight or tomorrow
All right,
morning.
yeah.
I think everything went well with that. I think.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that. I was on a couple other panels doing some other stuff, and that was a good time.
How'd
and
404 in it go?
Good. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I think Pat is going to put up that panel on 404init.com here pretty soon. Here.
You got the .com.
That's right. He did. He's planning ahead.
Talk to
He
Pat.
planned ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, PAX was fun. I got out. I feel like I got out like 6 hours before everything went bad out there.
It's getting worse today,
as far
right?
as
weather-wise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a new storm coming in.
So like
I
as
heard,
I was
like,
getting
2
out,
feet
they
of
were like
snow.
closing down, like basically like any flight that was leaving last night or today or even into Wednesday. They were just like, this is unlikely to happen. Like we're canceling days worth of flights.
Wow.
So just huge blizzard coming in. It sounds like it's going to maybe miss New York a little bit more than they originally thought. So maybe that stuff will kind of
Still,
snap back
they,
into
they like
shape.
shut
but-
down buses out there. Like Vinny's working from home today because
Yeah.
you know what? He can't get in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Snow day.
It's full on snow day. One John Drake had a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A
Dave.
mishap.
I'm sorry,
He's
Drake.
stuck out there.
Wait. Oh, I didn't know that.
No, they ended up driving to New York thinking that might be a better way out. But So he ruptured his left Achilles.
What?
Oh, it's that bad?
Yeah. And so he has to get back here for like physical, like get some surgery stuff going or whatever he's got to get going.
Man.
And like
PAX wrestling is real.
yeah, it's the realest. And they're just trapped.
Broken ribs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he's just
How did
trapped out there.
how did he injure himself, Jeff?
jumping up and down.
Just being old.
He just jumped up and landed.
You got to
weird.
warm up with that stuff. He was
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
His butler had won a match.
Yep.
His butler is also a vampire.
Right.
And she had won the match. And
I think she got turned into a vampire.
no, I think
during
she was the
course.
vampire.
Oh, she was a vampire and she turned someone else?
She turned someone else. So, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
right.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's wrestling. So,
Exactly.
right. Wait, it's wrestling. I need to actually move my hands for that.
I felt
it's not even.
super bad for Drake. Like I saw him jump up and kind of come down and
Did
wobble
you
a little
see it
bit.
happen?
Yeah, I was right by there. Like I sat kitty corner from him,
Was,
and
was he just like not even walking after that?
he hobbled back over to his chair.
Yeah.
And you could see the look of terror in that man's eye.
But
Yeah.
he
And
was
it's
there for
like-
the rest of that show. The
Yeah.
show went on.
the show
Like,
went
that's-
on. Like
yeah.
kudos to him. Like
Man.
he went and he did commentary and
Nobody
hobbled
threw up an
around
X?
and-
No.
Wow.
No one
Good.
threw up the X. And a stretcher was brought there, but he did not leave on the said stretcher. There was no
Man.
stretcher job.
Man.
Anyway, yeah, of course, wish him the best.
Yeah.
It's a fucking bummer. Freak accident. I messed up my tailbone at PAX
Yeah.
jumping.
That's right.
Like
Man,
that's,
PAX will mess you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, PAX will really mess you up.
That Achilles is no joke, though.
Yeah, that's
Like
like season-ending injury.
Yes,
type
definitely.
Stuff.
I tore my MCL in my knee one time, and like when it happens, I don't know how his heel was, but it's like you hear it. There's like a snap.
Oh
Oh.
man.
Like you feel something give in the joint, and it's real. There's like a real sinking feeling in your stomach when it happens. You're like, man, that was not good.
Does your leg still work like just enough to where you're like totally unsure how bad it
It
is?
was definitely. I did it snowboarding,
Yeah.
and it was definitely like a process of hours of like, okay, how bad actually is
Yeah.
this? I can kind of still get around on it, but then by the next morning, my knee was like 3 times bigger than it had been the night before.
Well, maybe
Okay.
it'll go down.
Good Lord.
A few days after that, I ended up having to go. Like they stuck a gigantic needle in there and drew
What?
like tons of
Ah.
fluid
Yeah.
out of the knee,
I'm going to pass out.
and then it was like 8 weeks physical therapy after that. it was gross.
Yeah, so I think he got in a boot and stuff. He said it didn't necessarily hurt after he just can't put any weight on it. So
Okay,
so
That's-
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah.
He'll bounce back.
Yes, Jason, I understand you had some troubles of your own.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Don't let me tell you. I've been traveling for a long time,
Uh-huh.
right? Like most of my adult life.
Seasoned traveler.
Seasoned. So let me give you this one hot tip. The
Okay.
one most important
This is
thing.
One weird
Okay,
trick.
let's
Don't leave your phone in a cab
Wow, I hadn't thought of
as you're going to the airport to go home.
that. Oh,
Cross
wow.
country.
It makes so much sense when you say it like
Seriously, when you think about it, you're like, yeah, I
Well,
guess
how come I
like
never thought of
everything's
that?
tied to my phone. My
Yeah.
entire life is in this goddamn thing.
that. Especially when you're on the way to somewhere that you can't really turn back from. 'cause You have
Exactly.
to go to a flight.
Luckily, I had a tablet on me, so I'm like, all right, I can do this. I've got the receipt from
When
the,
did
from
you
the
realize-
cab company. As soon as I got up to like check in, because I've got all my flight info on my phone.
So like just enough time for the cab to pull away.
I knew, I'd seen him, sent him on his way, bid him adieu, later, dude.
Yeah.
And I got up there and then realized, shit, and frantically tore through my bags, could not find it. But I had a tablet, so I'm like, I'll just connect to Wi-Fi. You know what? I've got the receipt. I'm gonna call, or email Lisa, and she can call the cab company or something like that. Could not get Wi-Fi anywhere in that goddamn place. So I had to go through booking and security and find a different terminal that actually had Wi-Fi. So once I finally got a hold of Lisa, she was able to start calling the cab company and stuff, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about no phone.
ain't seen
And
no
we're like,
phone.
yo, we got a receipt, we got a time code, we got the driver, we get the cab number. Can you look in there? And they're like, no, can't find anything. So we called the cops.
Okay. Escalate.
We escalated to Officer Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Officer
Wait,
Fitzpatrick.
in Boston?
Exactly, in Boston.
the officer.
And he got he got the wheels turning. And he gave him a call and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, you guys got this phone? I got a serial number." And like an hour later, Officer Fitzpatrick, thank you very much, said, "Yeah, oh yeah, they found it. in
Hey,
the
they
seats."
happened to turn it up.
They happen to turn it, but they're not able to get it to the police as of just yet because there's a shitload of snow there, and it's currently blizzard country. over
Yes.
there. So we might not get the phone to the police just yet, but soon, hopefully.
Yeah, it was snowing pretty bad for a while there while we were out there, and that was
it
the
a couple
first.
days. It was. Woo.
I think that was the first time I've seen snow actually falling in abundance.
Oh, really?
In, I don't even know how long.
It's what?
Years.
It's pretty when
Yes.
it's falling. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
It was kind of nice to be out in it for like brief periods of time
Like
as someone who
30
doesn't
seconds.
get out there. Yeah,
10
exactly.
seconds.
You know, when you're like looking at your phone, it's just like, oh, it's 16 degrees. Feels like 2.
Yep.
You're like, I want to know what that's like.
That's novel.
I want to stand out there for just long enough to go, man, fuck this. Which didn't take too long.
Yeah, if you're taking a taxi over and he just doesn't want to drop you off at the convention center, maybe he wants to drop you off like 2 blocks away.
Yup.
That sucks.
Yup.
Especially when it's super windy. Yeah, because I don't bring the whole jacket ensemble because the coat checks are always full by the time I get to the convention center and stuff. Like I have the coat back at the hotel. But when
Especially if you're bringing a camera bag, like where are you gonna put that?
I didn't even do
Stuff
that
it in
this
the-
year
yeah.
because the back is bad. So you know what I did? I put that backpack in a Pelican case.
Wait, really?
I did. It was lazy, but you know what?
Awesome.
My back was not going to take it. So.
Hey, that's problem solving.
Yeah.
But it
That's
totally
smart.
worked out.
Hashtag produced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a time. I had a great time, like meeting people and stuff, and shaking hands and high fiving and hugging and stuff. That was super cool.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
did get to play something though.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey!
Oh,
my
man.
God.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
just
music.
cue yourself?
I
Doing
did
my
cue
job for me.
myself. You guys like that Monster Hunter, right?
What?
Fucking everybody. God, I lost you already.
Jason? I like that Monster Hunter.
Uh,
Drew likes that.
I
Monster
like that
Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Brad has played Monster
I've
Hunter.
played Monster Hunter.
That's true.
I don't hate Monster Hunter.
As
It's-
you know,
Peter,
I'm-
you touched
alright.
Monster Hunter. You
Touched it, but how
Okay,
do you?
yeah.
Yeah, understanding that game is kind of beyond me.
It's well, you'll be happy to hear that this new game called Dauntless, which is currently pre-alpha right now. I get to play a little bit of that, and so this is going to be like a free-to-play, very Monster Hunter-y sort of game.
Okay.
But
for what platform?
this is going to be PC.
Okay.
So the main questions that I had, initially is how does it play? How's the free-to-play stuff? Classes, experience. Tell me about the multiplayer experience. And it's hard to really judge, what the full game is going to be like, when it's launched, because this is very much like a vertical slice for the show floor. But after talking with them for a bit, it's going to have like a PSO style, like lobby system, like maybe up to 64 per like zone or something like that. So you can kind of get into groups that way, or just do private invites. But there's no experience or anything, just like Monster Hunter. You're kind of capped by your equipment. Loot is like crafting stuff, just like Monster Hunter. You get monster bits and stuff. But the game plays really well, and I guess I'm not surprised. These are ex-Riot dudes, so there's a little bit of a pedigree.
Okay.
And they're huge Monster Hunter fans, and we actually talked about how much we didn't like Generations all that much. We kind of skipped over that, but. One of my main reasons for skipping over, Generations, because I'm sick of playing on handhelds, and this is going to be on PC.
Yeah, I've been thinking the same thing for a long time. Like the Monster Hunter formula with a nice controller and nice graphics could go a long way.
And this has a pretty good look to it. It's kind of not minimalistic, but it's got kind of flat textures and stuff. Not in a bad way, but just like in a minimalistic, kind of clean, stylized. Yeah, and a little cartoony as well,
Okay.
like exaggerated features.
Yeah, I
and
have to go
stuff.
look this up. That sounds cool.
Yeah,
I've
don't-
definitely
don't-
heard good things. Like people have been talking about it for a little
That's
bit.
good. Yeah, after playing a little bit, I felt right at home. with like playing Monster Hunter before. This seems totally up my alley.
Yeah.
So I only played one round of it. So they had it like how you queue up at like a roller coaster. It's like you and 3 friends, get in this booth. You would have a group of 4, and you would take on like one of 2 monsters. It was super cool. Yeah, it was cool chatting with everybody, like during the experience and stuff. It worked out really well. I'm really excited. I can't wait. I want to play more Dauntless.
All right.
man.
I'm gonna go look that up after
Yeah,
this. I
please.
want to see what that looks like.
Saw a bunch of other cool stuff. I didn't really have too much hands, but Absolver was there. Like I don't know if that was like the first time that it's been playable to like the general. Besides like E3, they had it at like a
Right.
I want to say like the Devolver Digital.
Which one is that?
That is the
Like a one-on-one combat
so a little bit of Journey
kind of game, but not a fighting game.
A little bit of fighting
sort of,
game.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, it's
It's almost
very
like a martial arts game, right?
Yeah,
Kinda?
martial arts, like deep mechanics,
Yeah.
but it's got like a weird multiplayer, like Journey-esque. Like you have real people that you're either fighting against or fighting with, and there's not a lot of interaction other than I'm gonna whoop your butt or we're gonna whoop butt together. It's got a good look.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Devolver seemed like they had a bunch of good stuff. Like they've got that. They've got Ruiner.
Yeah,
Yep.
I saw.
Ruiner looks great.
I saw
really
Ruiner
good.
very briefly at GDC, and that thing is striking.
Yeah, kind of an isometric kind
Yeah.
of perspective. So run around, do stuff.
Yeah.
And then Ape Out.
Which
Looked kind of like it's almost like a monotone, like very stylized, top down. It almost looked like Hotline Miami, except you're a gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
In.
Out, Ape Out.
Oh,
Yeah.
my mistake.
And we asked someone what the game was about, and we were told that you're an ape and you want to get out. So
as apes often do.
I assume that's the whole story, but I don't know. Yeah.
Spiritual successor to Ape Escape.
Yeah. I mean, these apes have to escape.
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, once they
Get
escape,
out.
they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing from the role of the apes this time, though. Totally different. So,
Right.
Yeah. Man, I would totally play an Ape Escape game where you play the other side.
Where are you with do you want a new Ape Escape? Are you in that
I
camp?
think about, I go back and forth on that, where I go like, man, I loved Ape Escape.
Yep.
I'm sad that they haven't gone on to make more of them. And then I go back and kind of look at Ape Escape 1 and 2 and go like, this style of platformer, maybe
3D
not.
platformer.
Like there's no guarantee that this would actually be
in its heyday,
absolutely
even
yeah.
standing up against some of the other 3D platformers at the time, it stood head and shoulders. I think.
Did you ever play the one where you have the vacuum cleaner and you suck the pants off the monkeys?
Oh, wait, that wasn't a fever dream that I
No,
had.
that
That
actually
I think
happened.
I guess I did then at some point.
That one's all right
I
too.
sucked some pants off.
It's not as good. It's not as good.
Is that the one that has the subtitle where it's like 1,000 monkeys or whatever?
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Wasn't there at least one that never came out here?
Yeah, that one.
But that's the Japan only.
And then
one?
there's the McDonald's Happy Disc,
Right.
that has like a Ape Escape demo on it, and I think a Parappa 2
Parappa,
demo
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
all right.
And then those trivia. I think that was it trivia games for the Vita or PSP or something. There were like some mobile, some
Yeah.
portable Ape Escape games.
You tell me.
I never
It's a blur.
remember that.
Happy Disc.
Happy Disc.
I don't think we ran across any of those in our
Demo
demo.
Derby? We should get some happy discs.
Yeah.
Huh.
I have the Happy Disc. I'm in possession of,
Jeff, bring that
of
shit
one,
up.
the
one and only.
actual Happy Disc.
I want to play some happy discs.
All right. Well, if you like being happy.
I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Yeah, PAX was super
Yeah,
cool.
that sounds like a good time.
Like I said, that Indie Mega Booth is just huge, and that
Yeah.
seems like the go-to place to play new stuff. There's a lot of stuff that is currently out there, like
Yeah.
Versus and stuff like that, which is it's a little weird to see that. It seemed like there was more of that this year than in previous years.
Yeah, like
That's
Bethesda was
but-
showing Quake Champions, but then they also had a huge area devoted to Elder Scrolls Online. So
Right.
it's like, I
Did
mean,
you guys play Quake Champions?
no.
Oh man.
Oh man. Sorry.
And I signed up for that beta.
Yeah.
I hope that starts soon. I wanna
Yeah,
play that.
no, the most gaming I did through PAX was on the flights.
Yes,
yeah?
I was going to ask you.
Oh,
I wanted to hear a Nintendo Switch trip report.
It went well.
How's that thing?
I had power at the seat both ways, so it was
Okay.
fine.
Is that just a thing now?
It depends on the planes.
Yeah,
I thought I was on
that still
JetBlue, and
seemed pretty
and
rare.
I was on JetBlue, and they actually had like a pretty good package of services. It was like free internet, a ton of free movies.
Wow,
Like you want to watch Die Hard, here you go.
Yes.
free internet and free power is like
Yeah.
kind of all you need.
Right, yeah, and so I plugged in and played Zelda the whole way.
Wow.
Well, not the whole way out. I flew out on a red eye, so I got on the plane like 11:30 at night, played like an hour and a half of Zelda, and then was like, maybe I could actually sleep. That'd be nice because I have to go. Yeah, I took that red eye and then went directly to the New York office.
You had a damn adventure.
Yeah, I had like a 2-day bender basically of like, I was here last week for this podcast.
Yes.
And then was in this office till about 9:30. Drove to the airport.
Okay.
Flew out. Actually got some sleep along the way. Landed at 8 a.m. and then immediately got in a car to go to the office.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then got to the office a little bit before any of those guys showed up, which is always a bummer because my badge doesn't work out there.
Oof.
So they're just like,
You got a social
who do you know?
engineer-
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, I got it. It's fine. And then we recorded the Beastcast, and then we recorded Film in 40s for Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
The real reason I went out there
Yes.
was to do that. And so by the time we recorded Tokyo Drift, I got like 2 hours of sleep on the plane or something like that. But it had gone bad.
Okay.
So then it was like, all right, here's these
Perfect time to
40s of
drink
malt
40,
liquor.
yeah.
Yeah, basically. Actually, the drinking that didn't really do anything because I was already pretty messed up just from the time. Yeah, and then we drove the following day. We drove to Boston, and that was fun. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I played Zelda an hour and a half on the way out, and played it literally start to finish the entire flight on the way back.
How's that thing hold up as a portable?
So it turned on in my bag. Like
I've seen people
sometimes
saying
putting
that.
power into it
Oh, really?
will
Is this
will light it up.
from like sleep mode? So how does it
Yeah.
get like re-enabled? Like,
I've seen.
This might have been from sleep mode.
I saw some people saying like if the sticks get clicked in, it'll wake it up out of sleep.
okay.
Well, so
And that can
they
happen
have
in
this,
your bag?
Yeah, they have this thing where it's like push the same button 3 times to unlock, and I
Okay.
think that's specifically to stop it from unlocking automatically in your bag.
Yeah.
But
Like,
it could
think about like something in your bag
Yeah.
as you're
Yeah,
walking and
yeah,
it hits
exactly.
against
Like
you.
that
the
rhythmic
click,
motion of
click,
walking.
click.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
exactly.
so I had it in the
Totally.
front pocket, the front seat pocket on the plane, and because during takeoff, they didn't want me to have anything plugged into power or whatever. I'm like, whatever, I'll just set this here. When I went to grab it, like the pouch was just burning up hot. I was like, oh
Whoa.
fuck, this thing's cooked. Open it up, and I guess like it had come on. Zelda was running. It was in game. I was just
got
dying over
another
and over
shrine.
again or
It was
something.
in game. Like it was literally in game.
literally in game.
What?
It was just like loading me up and spawning me at the top of a tower because that was the last thing I did. And it was just, I mean, there was so much hot air coming out of the fan
Yeah.
into that zipped up pouch
Oh,
that it was just like the whole unit was hot.
Thing
The
was like
bag
100
was hot. I
degrees.
was like, oh great.
wow.
So yeah, that was sort of disappointing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I played that game the whole way back, and yeah, plugged into power. It was fine. So it wasn't, I didn't really test the battery length, but
Did you hold it? Did you put it on the tray table?
I held it.
Okay.
I actually had enough leg room. I had gotten an exit row,
So cross the leg.
so
and
I probably could have actually done the kickstand thing.
sure.
But
Mm.
that's a terrible way to play anything. I just every time I've set that thing down and tried to be away from the screen, it's part of it's a factor of just like that screen is too small
Yeah,
for
Okay.
I think you'd want
my
to hold
eyes.
it right in front of your face.
But yeah, so I ended up holding it in front of my face. Then at some point it's like, this is. I'm gonna put my hands on my knees and bend down and play it that way for a while. So there's definitely like some shifting around because I was in a middle seat, so I wasn't gonna
Oh,
be comfortable
no.
anyway.
I want to say on my United flight, they had instead of screens, they had a bunch of holders, where you put like an iPad or your phone
Right,
or something
yeah.
like that. That seems super cool. I saw on Twitter, Ian
yes,
actually duct taped his Switch.
I think this had come up during PAX. He mentioned like at some point during PAX that this was like what he wanted to do,
Yeah,
and I guess he decided to get some duct tape and do it.
he went through with it, and yeah, didn't get kicked off the plane. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so now that Switch has been duct taped to the back of a seat. Its kickstand has been in my mouth. Like there's a whole
Ah.
yeah.
Peter,
PAX
did you do,
got weird.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
Did you do much portable playing? You reviewed Zelda, right?
Yeah, I've played 100 hours of that game.
Were you
Good
taking
lord.
that thing around town?
Most of the time is spent playing in handheld mode, but
Really?
usually in my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's super comfortable, honestly. Like, I don't feel
Yeah.
like I'm playing anything like a diminished experience at all. It feels good. The battery life could be better. My battery pack is rated pretty highly in terms of like amperage,
Oh right.
but will not power it.
Oh.
So that's the one problem that I have.
Yeah.
But I just run a cable under my couch. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I didn't have any real trouble with it. I played some definitely like while I was in Boston, like, get back to the room at night and be like, all right, I'm going to knock out a couple of shrines, do something.
Get those shrines.
And I ended up watching, there's a speed run out there, someone finishing the game in 56 minutes, I
Yeah,
think.
I saw that.
I got an hour to kill. I could
Exactly.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
maybe I
yeah.
could play Zelda.
So I
All right.
learned a hot technique from that video that is now like mitigating one of the like handful of problems I have with that game.
Oh, really?
What is that?
What you got?
If you hold down on the D-pad, which is the whistle for horse button, and tap the run button,
Okay.
you can run pretty much full speed with no stamina drain.
Is there like a weird animation because you're juggling
Yeah,
between
his
things?
his hands are up to his mouth, and it's not like a jittery one. It's a different running animation.
I'm trying to envision the hand contortions it would take to pull that off. That
So-
feels like it would just create a whole new problem.
So I think so if I'm
Because that's
I'm-
down
I'm-
on the D-pad.
Okay, so what I did was I used my thumb to hit down on the D-pad, then took my index finger around
Okay,
and
to-
put
to
that
work- to work
onto
the left
the
stick?
analog stick.
Yo, that's a claw motion.
Yeah.
Classic
Okay.
claw.
And
from PSP.
then over here I'm just matching
Tapping the run button?
the
That's-
B button.
That's ridiculous.
Dude,
Like the
I got
games.
to fuck around,
Yeah,
man.
I guess
It was
so.
awesome.
Oh, you have to keep tapping it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could, you could also do it the other way of like hold it down and run normally, and then when your stamina is just about empty, let off and start tapping, and it'll refill. So you don't necessarily have to tap the whole time, but at some point I was just like, I'm just gonna tap the whole time.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. I wish you could do it while you were climbing, but alas.
Yeah.
On a personal note, like, is this like an evergreen kind of game? Like, I've got a shit ton of stuff on my plate. Like 2017
Yeah,
heavy
no, I mean,
hitters.
yeah.
What do you mean? Are you going to be able to come back to it?
I think,
Yeah,
so.
I think absolutely.
I think some of the technical aspects of it might not age super well. Like I think they're there's stuff about the draw distance in that game that especially for a game that is all about getting to a high vantage point and being able to see all around you. Like sometimes the details that are lost are things you would probably want to see.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Like a treasure chest. If you're on a really tall
exactly.
building or something, you might not see that on the ground.
There's stuff like that I wish was better. And like the frame rate is
Also-
what it is.
Also, in terms of like story or spoilers. Like,
I mean,
It's so throwaway.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Actually, I would actually say that there are things about the story, the way they've framed it, that I really, really like.
So yeah, I really like the memories, right? I think those provide the best bits of story in the game, but by and large, the thing that is like the quintessential Zelda stuff in there, I can't say anything really resounding about that or anything bad. It's just kind of, I mean, the voice acting kind of sucks.
The voice acting is pretty bad.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I like they set it up in a way where it's like, hey, this. I guess I don't want to say, but yeah, there are things about the way they have framed this particular telling of the Zelda story that I think are really actually cool. It's not necessarily like big spoiler
That's
stuff.
exciting.
But I do like the way that they're kind of the way Link is, the way characters treat him as a result of how things have kind of played out up to this point.
I think I see what you're getting at.
Like I think that's like it's a really impressive kind of twist on it. It's not a huge change, but I like what it does to a lot of the dialogue along the way.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of screenshots of the 3-panel like dialogue that you have with somebody, and it seems like there's some really good writing.
Really good writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just when you think a character like thinks that you as Link are like this great person, they blindside you with some like offhanded criticism about like what you're wearing or how you're acting.
like people are constantly talking shit.
Yeah.
Really?
In that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I think Link's responses are really well written. There's a lot of really flippant,
like some of that stuff,
irreverent kind of
Sarcastic.
like the dialogue choices you have, are super dry and funny.
Yeah,
Good shit.
Yeah, so I'm like I've beat like 2 of the dungeons now.
Like the story ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I bet I'm at least 20 hours into that game, and I just now went to the first. I haven't even gotten in the first dungeon. I just went and talked to the first dude that I assume is going to lead me to one. Like I can't stop just like roaming the map looking for stuff.
You do you, homie.
Yeah, and now that I've beaten a couple of those, like there's like I'm kind of mopping up, going, oh, let's go climb the rest of the towers and fill in the rest of this map and do this stuff, and so yeah, there's a lot of really amazing stuff in that game. Like I don't know, like I still don't think I'm having like a lot of these great kind of emergent moments that people are having with the combat and stuff like that. Like it's not just like, oh, and then he yelled at me and then I threw this and did this. It's like, no, I'm walking up and murdering this man with a boomerang or a sword or whatever, and like that stuff's just going down pretty normally.
Real quick, this has been bugging the shit out of me. We have weapon degradation. What's up with the Master Sword?
I don't know yet.
Really?
I can tell you if you guys want to know.
I don't want to know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm operating under the assumption that the Master Sword will not break because it's the fucking Master Sword,
Right.
but I don't actually know.
Okay. That's I don't know.
I feel like I'm awash in good weapons at this point. Like I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good.
even outside of the Master Sword, you just keep getting new stuff, and the game
Yeah.
has some. It seems to have some algorithms working in the background. So the more enemies that you beat of a certain type, they introduce like higher grade enemies.
Yeah,
And I believe
yeah.
the same is with loot
That's
as well.
really been happening to me.
Yeah, because I'm not picking up like Traveler Sword. I'm not picking up basic equipment anymore,
Yeah.
even in seemingly
Right.
basic areas.
I
I'm
was-
finding stuff that keeps getting better. So use it, lose it,
Like-
get something new.
First of all, I love how stark certain areas are about just being too hard for you.
Yeah.
Where you're at in the progression. Like
Yeah.
I've wandered into areas multiple times where I was like, well, I can't be here right now.
Right.
Trounced, yeah.
Right.
But I don't know if it's that algorithm or whatever. But like the more I do that, the more I'm fighting enemies. Where like basically I went from getting weapons in the teens
Yeah.
to getting weapons in the 30s to 50s like very quickly as I was exploring.
Yeah.
and that's really satisfying.
I mean, you can technically go right to Hyrule Castle and get even higher spec gear
Yeah.
if you know where to look in the castle, but it's super dangerous.
But it's doable. You just got to be a little careful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in that game where, even, like clearly, anything's going to one-shot you if you take any hits at all,
Yeah.
but you can get past them, or you can fight them. I mean, like I found a shrine the other day that was just like, it's a there are a few that are just combat focused.
Yeah.
And it's just like, here's a guy that has 3,000 hit points.
Yes, I've seen that. That's the only shrine I have given up on.
I did it
because
I mean, I burned through everything I had,
that's
all my
thing.
arrows, all my everything.
That's the thing. I didn't want to burn all my weapons on that guy.
But just don't forget you have the ability to cast ice on things to stop time.
Oh, can you do that to actual fucking enemies?
Oh,
There comes a point.
God damn it,
Huh.
man.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Sorry, just the stopping time.
I was
The
gonna
ice
say,
one
I
does not
couldn't-
work
I
on
couldn't- I
enemies.
couldn't
Yeah,
figure out
because
how
that
the
needs
ice was gonna
water.
work on
No,
it.
Right,
That's
yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, but the time stopping thing, you do get the ability.
Also, those
to
guys
use
are made
that.
out of metal. I wonder if the magnetic stuff might do something. Maybe I don't know. Never tried it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, yeah, like there's a lot of cases where I'm just like burning through most of my stock, and like I still don't have a lot of arrows, and you know people and arrows are weirdly expensive. Like it's almost like economy stuff that starts to feel a little weird. Where like, hey, we sell an amiibo that one of the main things it does is drop arrows for you.
Yeah, that's been weird in the office because
Nice.
there are like exclusive gear that you can. There's
Right.
exclusive gear you can get from amiibo, so it's like, yeah, I'd want to look like Link from whatever game, but at the same time, then
Oh,
you're
it's
getting
armor?
Yeah,
You get armor, you get weapons.
we got it once every 24 hours. You can tap
Right.
your amiibo. And
Oh,
get
really?
it.
Get something new.
we gotta
Right,
talk.
So
but
it's
you're not
a
guaranteed-
We have to
one
talk
and
after this.
But you're not guaranteed to get the item that you want.
Oh.
So you have to keep doing it, and in doing that, you end up with dozens of, pieces of raw meat, right? And then like
Okay.
after the fact, you're like, well, I'm kind of OP now in terms of like health restorative stuff.
Can you save scum?
No,
Like,
Sort- I mean,
roll
yeah.
the clock.
Sort of.
yes, actually, yeah.
You can set your clock ahead and just do it again.
Yeah.
I bought an amiibo.
I want some armor. Though I feel like armor is the one thing I'm not getting enough of.
Yeah, well, that is kind of like the long term stuff to look for.
Yeah.
And
Is any of it baked into the story, or is it all just kind of out there?
some of it, yeah. I'd say like the Zora, when you get to the Zora place, you do need a certain piece of armor, and I guess the same applies to. No, yeah, it actually applies to all those places, except for the Rito.
Rito, yeah.
In terms of, like,
I don't think you need
There's
anything.
armor there you can buy,
Right.
which I did buy. I feel like actually like that's like the economy does feel strange in that game because because I know that there's a vendor that wants or some kind of like it uses a lot of the parts that I'm collecting from monsters as currency later in the game. So I'm hoarding all of that stuff as much as I can.
Oh, really? Like the horns and
Yeah. So as a result, I have no rupees, and so I'm barely ever able to buy armor. So it's this thing of like I'm not really sure what I can sell safely to actually make some money to then go buy some of this gear that seems to only be available for rupees.
In practice, for me, it was the same thing with weapons. Like, if I have items that I can sell to buy what I want right now, I just did it.
Yeah.
And I never actually, from that point on, found myself lacking anything, which was great. Because, like, you find more ore. You fight monsters that give you more valuable monster parts as you go.
Right.
Like,
But for me, it's like every piece of ore says like, oh, it's imbued with the power of fire. And I'm
Yeah,
like, shit, I
I
can
know.
probably hang on to this, huh?
yeah.
And so I've like been reluctant to sell any of the ore except for diamonds because diamonds don't say anything about what they do.
And diamonds are forever, so.
Right, exactly. So
ever.
yeah, there are aspects of that where like someone was like, oh, just go to like a basic camp and just run in circles, and the guy at the top will shoot arrows at you, and you can just pick up as many arrows as you want.
You can
I'm
also
like,
block
okay,
them
that's
with your
actually-
shield and then pocket them when you put
Oh,
your shield
okay.
away.
That's pretty good
Yeah,
too.
you can basically bait an enemy into giving you stuff without putting in a lot of work.
Yeah.
But buy arrows from Beetle. Every time you see Beetle, that jokey dude with the big red
Yeah.
nose who laughs like Mario.
He's got the cheapest arrows.
He's got the cheapest arrows, and he always, like I think it's like $10 10 rupees for one, or like 45 for something. I don't know. I forget. But
That's the thing. Like 10 rupees right now still seems like a lot.
dude, sell your shit. Sell your ore. Get
Yeah,
rid
I've
of it.
been
Just
selling.
dunk
I
it.
don't sell all of any category, but I'd peel off. Like if I've got 20 of
Yeah.
something, I'll sell 15 of them or something.
Specifically for ore, it has very, very limited uses.
Okay,
So
that's good to know.
yeah.
And that stuff's worth a lot.
It's worth a lot,
I'm
yeah.
saving for a house.
Yes.
Found those
Oh.
dudes that want to sell me a house.
I have not found that.
I want to buy a house.
Oh, it gets by that.
I don't know what the I don't know what the use of the house is. When I was streaming on Friday, everybody was saying like, yeah, you should buy that house. Like beyond, because I was like, is this just Skyrim style, like a thing to decorate? And they were like, no, there's reason to get that.
I can explain it.
That's
I can
fine.
explain it.
It's fine.
Yeah, no.
But
You
it's just
don't
nice to
wanna-
know there is like
Yeah.
they made it sound like some stuff opens up once you get that house.
Yeah, do the house, and then there's a thing that happens after, which is cooler.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
It's
think
expensive,
that's
though.
that's kind of been the best part about that game is really just kind of wandering that world
Yeah.
and finding stuff.
I stumbled onto Eventide Island
Yeah.
the other day, and I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's
And I haven't been able to beat that. It's tough.
What's going on there?
Should I say it? It's not.
Okay. If it's spoiler like
It's not
huge
story.
story
It's
either,
a
but-
mechanic. It's a mechanics thing.
Okay.
But that is like almost the spoiling thing in this game.
Yeah,
is like
kinda.
what you find and what it amounts to.
Yeah, it's more the mechanics of being there than there's no story.
Yeah, let people find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sure.
won't say, but it's a really hard challenge.
I will
It's
say
a-
that, like,
it's
just
a really
about-
cool thing.
Just about any of the shrines that involve motion controls kind of bum me.
Yeah,
out.
those are.
That's
you don't like going
that
like
said, way more golf in this game than I
Yeah.
would have expected.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I got to the
Surprisingly.
labyrinth one. That was
Yeah.
kind of annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
that one was not great.
That one is annoying. And then the secret is just like flip your thing over so that it's a flat surface for you to just roll the ball. And
Oh, I just went.
Yeah.
Flicked it
Oh.
really hard.
Yeah.
so also, if
that's-
you turn it 180, it drops right near the exit of that maze.
Oh.
So then you can turn it back and just do it.
Wait, flip it over.
But if you turn your entire switch upside down, the entire maze turns upside down and the ball drops onto a flat surface.
Oh, because the ball
ball always
despawns
respawns.
and
Yeah.
respawns and
So there's like, it's fun that there's like weird out of the way ways
Yeah.
to solve some of
Yeah.
that stuff.
I feel like the game is full of like workarounds that you can
Yeah.
kind of creatively come up with.
So yeah, there's a creativity to that game
Yeah.
that I think is really fascinating.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Also the stuff we talked about last week in terms of just like picking up stuff out of a chest when your inventory is full.
Yeah.
You actually can't go in your inventory and drop something at that point. Like especially for like
Yeah, I couldn't
shields and
find
stuff
a
like
way
that.
to
Like
do
it
that.
doesn't let you in. So you have to like let it sit in the chest.
Oh
and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
still
yeah.
have to manually
Yes,
drop
yeah,
stuff.
you're right. That sucks.
So-
That is annoying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the thing you said definitely works last week that totally does not.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah.
No, I know you have to go. But
yeah,
you have to
it's-
open the chest a second time.
Yeah,
to get
like
the
that
thing
stuff
out.
still sucks.
all you would need is this. You pick this up, make room in your
Yeah.
inventory.
All you would
Yeah,
need is a
yeah.
touch screen
Yeah, it
to
just
manipulate your inventory
Or
with.
not
some-
even. Just
Yeah,
some
like
kind of UI.
just give you an
Right.
option to
Yeah.
just
menu
yeah.
option.
Even being able to drop stuff out of the quick select would help.
That's what I expected.
Um,
And was
yeah.
surprised not to find.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, I understand why it would be harder to climb when it's raining.
Yeah,
But that is
the number of
probably the
yeah.
worst thing about that entire game.
They're like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna sit here stuck to this
Yeah.
side and wait for the weather to change because
Yeah.
I'm halfway up.
But it's not.
And
It's not
like-
meant to be fun. That aspect.
I
Right?
know,
I mean,
but
there's
it's just-
another.
And nothing
thing
about
that
climbing is
lend-
fun.
Sure.
Nothing at
I
all about
know.
climbing.
I don't
is
mind.
Fun.
I don't mind the climbing other than just like getting randomly screwed by the weather. Especially because I found that area of the game where it's constantly raining
Sure.
and you just can't climb anything there
That
because
was-
it's always.
I mean,
Yeah, you'll fix that. It'll be fun.
I'm sure. Yeah, they made it seem
Poor
like that.
Peter.
And there's some other stuff you get later that actually, like Dan pointed me
Philistines.
at early on, but I didn't take his advice to go do it immediately. But I eventually there's some stuff in that game that will kind of mitigate your need to climb as
Oh.
much as you are climbing.
yeah.
Which is pretty good.
That sounds fun.
And yeah.
Good skates.
And there's a good argument to be made. I think there was someone on Kotaku wrote an article about not getting heart containers. Just build up your stamina.
Really?
Because if you're going to die at the hand of something anyway, it's going to happen whether you have like 4 or 10 hearts.
Yeah.
But and so why not just be able to run longer, climb faster, do all of that?
Yeah. The other thing is, that, I don't know if you've noticed that anything that's hardy, like
Yeah.
hardy durian, hardy radishes, like
Love
any of those,
durian.
if you cook any of those by themselves, they give you a full restore plus X number of bonus hearts.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
like why would you get heart containers? Out
Yeah,
of the upgrades when
once
you
I
can just do
once I
those?
kind of got to a point where I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna have to cook
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah.
Like I did sit there for like half an hour
Yeah.
just fucking making shit.
Like I found a place where I
Man.
picked up like 30 hardy durians in like 5 minutes or something, and like I've just got zillions of like bonus heart meals in my inventory now.
Did anyone comment on your scent in the
No.
game?
No, does that happen?
Oh, durians smell awful.
Oh, I
in the
know that in
world.
real
yeah,
life.
No, I
but
figured.
does that happen
well,
in the game?
There's
'Cause
so
I
many
could-
other things
I
that are
could see
accounted
that.
for.
There's so much attention to detail.
I was really hoping that you could overeat because sometimes when you eat and you're getting extra hearts, that it would say it's not going to heal you. Or you still want to eat it though?
Yeah.
It's like I want to do.
Yeah.
But
I want to play the Chubby Link.
yeah,
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
not a thing.
Yeah.
Sadly.
That's a pretty good game.
It's there's a lot of really great stuff in there.
It's surprisingly works really well as a short time game.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I've seen a lot
I've
of
been
people saying
playing it like before I go to bed and when I wake up. I actually haven't even plugged it into a TV yet. I've just been playing it in bed.
Yeah.
And it's great for just like 20 minutes, 20 to 40.
It's like surprisingly generous about the saves and loads. Like you can save anywhere
Yeah.
at any time and just load right back
the
there.
checkpoints are really
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really generous with the things that make you feel accomplished as
Yeah.
well. So you can walk away saying, yeah, I did something with
Yeah.
this 20 minutes.
Totally. totally.
I feel like the deeper in you get though, like as you've kind of found like a ton of shrines, then it becomes like, okay, well maybe it's like a little bit harder to go find one in 20 minutes.
Yes.
So in 100 hours, I've done like 54 shrines,
That's
and
it?
I think
How many are there? 100 total?
I think there's like
120, I think is
116,
what-
something
wow.
like that. And I'm not like, I didn't spend much time at all during the game just like, okay, I'm just going to look for shrines today. Like, I'd go to a tower and be like, cool, I'll mark those shrines and do them. But there are shrines hidden in places that you just can't see in plain sight.
Yeah.
And in now investigating like the nooks and crannies of the world, I'm uncovering these shrines, and they're like multi-stage shrines and stuff like that. Honestly, the game tells me I've played 100 hours. Doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel just as pleased and curious as I did.
Now that it's
50
flipped
hours
over
ago.
from you played this you started playing this X number of days ago to now like
I can't believe
you have played X number of hours, but rounded off to the nearest 5.
Yeah, and
now
what,
it's
it
like
takes
it says
like a
it
week?
says I'm over 25.
It takes like a week for that to kick in for every game or something
I
like
thought it was
that.
10 days. I'm not sure.
That's what?
Yeah, like the
So
activity
bizarre.
log
Yeah.
originally just goes
Yeah.
like, you played this, you started this yesterday.
Right.
But at some point, I
Eventually,
believe
they,
it's 10 days.
Secret nod to kids to get away with playing more than their
I
parents
guess.
want them
I
to.
don't know.
eventually they will deign to let you know how much you've played a game.
How dare they?
It's better than the Wii U version is like broken up by like days and months, right? Like they never.
in
they
terms of
never.
game time?
I think on the Wii U activity log, they never give you just an hour count. You have to kind of go through and add it all up.
Oh.
That's yeah.
Also, just other kind of Switch travel stuff. Like we were able to get it working on our public Wi-Fi here in the building and some other stuff like that. I tried connecting it at. So I stayed in 2 hotels. The hotel I stayed at in New York connected up just fine and worked.
Huh.
The one in Boston, as soon as I hit connect on it, the whole system crashed.
Yo, what?
Wow.
Whoa.
Like
I've had it
hold
hang.
down power button.
Yikes.
Like reset.
Wow.
And multiple times. It's just something about that Wi-Fi, that network's pop-up page, just
It happened
crashes
multiple
the entire.
times?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Must have been a flash.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I think-
Is there any
Weird.
benefit to even being online with that thing?
No. Actually, I wanted to see if the patch for Waku Waku 7 was out. Because as we did that launch day stream, and we're like, this looks all fucked up.
Yeah.
At some point, Hamster said, hey, all our Neo Geo games look fucked up. We're going to fix them.
It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Good.
And there's audio issues they're fixing as
Right.
well.
Yeah. And then Blaster Master is getting a Pro Controller
Okay.
patch.
Good.
It's out in the US now, but I think this week or next, I think this week, it is getting a Pro Controller patch.
Did you guys talk about that game last week?
I want to hear.
We played it during our
more
stream. It
about
doesn't seem great.
No.
It seems like
Really?
it's very devoted to like the first game, and on some level, that's what I want.
I saw people
in my
referring
head,
to it as a remake.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's like
the
straight up-
first area is it seems like
Yeah.
it's got like mid mission save points and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, the premise
but-
is the same, right?
yeah.
Oh, I lost my frog. Oh, I found this rad car. Let's go look for my frog car.
That's all I need,
That's-
man.
It's a great premise.
Basically
what
it.
more do you need?
Yeah.
For me, it's more that like if you go back to the original game now, all those out of car top down segments
Yeah.
are terrible.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
in the new game, they continue to be.
Yeah.
Only now it doesn't have the excuse of being this super old game.
Right. I mean, just not being able to jump. Like, I get that when you're doing the top down stuff, I get that wasn't in the original, but it feels like so necessary in the new one because it's 30 years later.
Yeah, I wish that they had revamped. I would. They could have totally ditched that entire perspective and replaced it with something else, and I would have been better off with that. But
It's one of those weird
at some point,
projects.
that's not Blaster Master. I don't
right.
even know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those weird projects to see, like, Integrate's a company that, okay, sure, they worked on Mighty Number 9. That didn't pan out so
Yeah.
well. But they've also worked on Mighty Gunvolt, which is an excellent
that's really good.
graduation of Mega Man X in a lot of ways. So to see them handle this, and who knows where the direction came from, but it seems
Right.
like someone was like, look, just do the old game and make it look and sound pretty.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's boring as hell.
Yeah, I still like
can't
the
play
look
it.
of the car, and that's
Yeah.
always been the draw. Is like just moving that thing around and jumping and getting out and being this little dude. I'm like, this is rad.
I always like
And I'm
the
oh
way
wait, this game is
I always like the way
Yeah.
the wheels drop a little
Yeah.
bit when you jump,
Right.
Totally.
and then
Yeah.
it kind of bounces on its suspension when
Physics,
it lands.
man.
Like that stuff looks awesome.
and it still looks good here, and you can shoot diagonally a little
Yeah.
more easily now. But yeah, it's.
There's no argument for the game. I don't know
Huh.
what the point is.
But that's that's been Blaster Master ever since. Like you know, there was that game on the PS1. Like there've been games, like a few games over the years where they've just been, we're making a new Blaster Master. It's like, all right, cool, I love that game, and then all it does is serve to remind you that like you were a kid when that game came out. It's actually bad. You're like, ah.
Main dude's name is Jason, and yeah, that was a little bit partial to that.
Sure,
I think.
fair
But,
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those top-down sequences are really fucking bad.
they really are.
Really
They
bad.
really are. And then I think Voez is out in the U.S. The touch only rhythm game and that sort of stuff. All the Neo Geo stuff came out in the U.S. I wasn't sure if they were going to bring it out or if they were going to bring it out that soon.
Yeah, I was feeling weird about having purchased them on the Japanese eShop, but I find myself like wondering, like, why do I feel weird about that? Because it's on my system, it works so easily. I don't even have to change profiles. I can play it as my US account.
A lot of it is in English, right?
It's all in English.
Blaster Master was,
right?
Least,
yeah,
it's all in English.
The only thing you wouldn't get is if you care about the like My Nintendo reward points. Those are now split between 2 accounts.
It's the most important thing to me.
I know. So so that is the thing you're losing out on. If it had system-wide achievements and it was harder to like play one on the other account or something like that, then maybe you could make a case for wanting to wait for a US version. But if it's there in English, I mean, even like like the US eShop recognizes those Japanese games as being the same thing.
Yes.
So like when I open up the US shop on my Switch, any game that I bought in Japan, it still just says purchased under Blaster Master, under Waku Waku 7, Voez, all that stuff. It just says you own this. It's purchased already.
Which seems like such a broken system.
Yeah.
But but because of Nintendo's broken ideas in terms of how a system should function, it works.
Right. So it's like it's a good it's a feel good thing of like, okay, this is the same thing. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I wonder like that's why I wonder like if these games that are out in Japan well ahead of the US release, like something like Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
Like if that Japanese version isn't English now, I don't know that it is. If it will receive English, or if they will will always maintain parity between all regions of the game, or if they will eventually have weird splits.
I don't know if I want English in that game.
Yeah,
doesn't feel right to me.
Something about the way it is. I mean, having like good, easy to understand menus would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
If I could keep the menus English, but all the text and voices Japanese, so that I have no idea what's happening in the story.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
There were some people that were kind of bummed out that Zelda didn't have an option for Japanese voices, but English, text and stuff. But it's like so much of that stuff is just keyed off of the overall system language, as opposed to an in-game menu. I mean, they could always offer an in-game menu for that stuff, but Zelda does not. So you're kind of stuck with that bad voice acting.
I was looking through that eShop. Like, I feel kind of starved for games because I like playing on the Switch. I think it's cool. But I couldn't find anything to download. How is Voez?
It's I just don't like the music in it that much.
Okay.
Like as a
What
rhythm
sort
game.
of rhythm game is it?
It's like falling gems, and you have to tap them when they cross a certain line.
Okay.
And then sometimes there'll be different style gems that you need to hold or swipe or something like that.
Okay.
It's on mobile. I don't know if it's free or not, but you could probably check it out on your phone and decide if you care enough about it.
Okay.
If it is free, I don't actually know.
Thought about Metal Slug briefly.
Yeah.
Or maybe that racing game. I don't know.
Fast. Yeah.
I hear good things.
Yes.
Right, we played the race of it.
It
seemed
looked
pretty
really
good.
nice.
Yeah. That game came out on the Wii U, and this is an updated version of that. So I kind of I already own that game there, so it kind of didn't really land with me much here. But
it is a good racing game.
Yeah,
and it
seemed fun.
Definitely the best graphics I think on the system so far. Like with the sense of
speed.
speed.
Speed's really good.
Yeah, and like the rainy levels. Like I don't know if you've played any of
No,
those on the Switch. Like it just looks really great. Like it's not like anything like that's beyond expectations for what this thing should be able to do. But it's still like, all right, sweet. This isn't just cartoony shit
right. You can kind of get a sense of like, okay, this thing has some technical chops to it.
Yeah.
It's more yeah.
Which
of course, I mean, like Zelda still looks awesome, but it's like that thing of like, oh well, also the frame rate is bad in a lot of spots and stuff like that. Like it's hard to know where the line's going to be for the Switch.
We don't know how much.
But at least fast looks great.
Yeah.
We don't know how much Zelda was held back by like
also that
being started on the Wii U and then ported over.
That's a good point.
That might be impacting it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Somehow. And Switch sounds all right.
It is.
It sounds pretty good.
I feel like it's still like there are a lot of people that are trying to like be all analyst about it and go like it's selling great. It's going to be the next Wii or it's not going to be or whatever. It seems so early, like way too early to even tell.
Yeah.
And it's riding on the back of like an incredible Zelda game.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll
give it some time and kind of see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Like I looking at the software that's out there now and what they've announced for this year, I feel like it's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a rough first year.
Yes.
It's probably be like the 3DS.
Sure,
that we were saying the
but
same
also
thing.
yeah, like I that's yes, and I wonder if there will be an ambassador program or something like that where they go like we had to cut the price, so now you get a bunch of like if it'll go like that 3DS.
I would love to see Hamster Corp keep doing their thing and keep rolling. I'm not joking.
Totally.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
like playing Neo Geo games is such a hassle depending on who is publishing the game and on what platform you're playing it.
Right.
That their games actually, yes, the color is a little bit dim, but right now,
But I think they're going to. I mean,
yeah, they've said they're going to.
They're gonna fix
right.
it,
So I'm not worried about it, and it's the best user experience I've had playing ported Neo Geo games. Almost period. Like they're good on the PS4, but having the convertibility aspect, like I've never played Metal Slug in my hand like this before.
I wish.
And
I mean,
awesome.
and it would be way more work, and at some point they'd have to charge more. It just wouldn't work out. Like I wish that stuff had online support.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, but yeah, as someone who has purchased all of the non-Neo Geo Hamster Arcade Archives release on the PS4, I think that they're doing God's work over there.
They really are.
They're bringing it to the people, and that's been kind of cool. And also, like, finally, Waku Waku 7 is
I know.
kind of a weird favorite of mine that doesn't come back very often
Sunsoft.
or ever. And yeah, Sunsoft.
Sunsoft.
Blaster Masters, them too. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird to see multiple games with a Sunsoft logo on them
I know.
at the launch of a system. You're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
happened?
Well, and Waku Waku 7 is one of those games that, like, I'd love a Saturn port of that, and that's the thing I've been collecting for, and I've been eyeing that game for a while. I just bought it for $8. I don't need to think about it anymore.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collected.
Yeah.
Check it off the list.
You got
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
All right. We need to take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
It's meals to your door o'clock.
Hang on. I just changed my clocks last night.
Okay, spring ahead.
It's like an hour until meals.
No, you are now an
clock.
You are now an hour late. But
man.
good news, Blue Apron meals can be cooked incredibly quickly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is the food still good? Didn't it spoil on my doorstep or something?
Yes, definitely. They will mail you the meals, and you can make them in under 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can get back on track with
catch
this
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Less than $10 a meal per person. They've got these easy-to-follow seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients, and they send them right to your door.
Great.
Do you want to hear about some of the featured upcoming meals for the month of March?
Tell me what's on my doorstep.
All right. Salmon piccata with orzo and broccoli.
Fish is okay.
Pork chops and miso butter with bok choy and marinated apple.
Pork, better than okay.
Pork is better than okay. Vegetable chili and baked sweet potatoes with crispy tortilla strips.
I like some chili.
I like a nice crispy strip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spicy shrimp coconut curry with cabbage and rice.
Whoa. Both?
A double shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just some of the meals you can get. You can check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping.
Great.
By going to blueapron.com/bombcast. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/bombcast. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Peter, I understand you've been playing that NieR.
A little bit.
Oh, I want to play some NieR.
Play that NieR.
It's like, where's that coming from?
I want to play some NieR.
Sinister voice fills the room.
It's the guy from the first game, right? I really like what I've played so far, which is not as much as I'd like to play. But it starts off with like a little arcade shooting kind of thing, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Did you play the demo like a month or two ago?
I've played a couple of demos that they've sent
They've
over.
a few,
Wonder
but I
if-
think
was
I think
that-
the intro to the game is the demo.
Is the demo?
So, yeah,
Okay.
it's kind
Yeah,
of
so
almost
yeah.
dual joystick shooting.
I guess
part.
I missed that. Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
it's a bit
Yeah.
twin stick, and it goes between top down, side scrolling, and like the free roam twin stick stuff.
Is that kind of the whole game? Like, is that
Yeah,
the
that's
format?
it.
Like
Yeah,
they
just wrap it
kinda
up and
No, but I mean, like, is that sort of like they're
perspective change.
consistently swapping
Yeah.
between those three
Yeah.
things? Like,
Yeah,
as,
totally.
as
Great.
throughout
That's
the
great
game?
to hear.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
you kind of you open up into more of a third person action style thing, like very similar to Metal Gear Rising or Vengeance. And then, but as you're sort of going around the environment from that point on, like suddenly you're doing a side scrolling thing where like you can't move back and forth in the environment. You can only go left and right.
Yeah.
So it definitely keeps you on your toes in terms of what to expect from the gameplay, which is great. I like pretty much everything about it, but it's only been a few hours of game at this point. But 26 endings to this game.
Yeah, what?
What?
Lord.
Yeah.
One for every letter in the alphabet. And I got one because I died, and it literally like starts to scroll the credits and then scrolls them by really fast and then puts you back on the home screen.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so like some of the endings are not necessarily like I
It's
think-
not like you beat the game.
There are
It's-
5 like big endings, as I
Yeah.
understand.
So that's,
Okay.
that's basically like the Chrono Trigger system of it's possible to finish the game
Yeah.
like at numerous points throughout the actual game you can get an ending.
There's a
Does it like autosave over your progress? Do you have to start over when that happens?
no.
Like when you hit that thing?
when
or
I
were
hit
you
that
able
thing,
to
I was
roll-
able to continue.
You're able to roll back.
Yeah, but that you raise an interesting point because the sort of the final ending in the game, which I don't think you guys mind if I spoil. It's not like story. It's more experiential. If that makes sense. You guys cool?
Sure.
With that?
All right.
Spoiler, please.
Spoiler warning.
So okay, you get to the credit sequence, and in that credit sequence, you are playing like a twin stick shooter again, but you are facing impossible odds, and you basically are incapable of beating the enemies that are presented to you. And the game says, "Would you like some help?" And you're then joined by other people's ghosts who had beaten the game and got that same ending. The interesting thing about this is to be someone who will, be an assist to someone else, you have to permanently sacrifice all of your saved game data.
What?
So you go to all these incredible lengths to get the
Like
craziest
ending E
in
or
the-
whatever.
Ending, yeah, I think it's Z or some shit like that.
alright.
Either way, it's like this, one of the bigger ones, and you basically have to say, "Yeah, I'm done. Just get rid of everything."
Just wipe your progress.
Yeah, but I think at that point in the game, you've actually done everything.
Okay.
Like there's almost no point to keep playing
Okay.
and use your save progress. It's almost a matter of just deleting the history of your, achievements.
That is wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like one step from the old Kojima thing
Sure.
of like you get one life and then you have to go buy another copy of the game.
But then, I mean, what happens? I mean, eventually enough people will do that they will win, right?
Well,
There's got to be something else. Like once enough people have sacrificed.
the center of the
no.
box?
I mean,
Yeah.
people are getting to that point.
Right.
It's not like it's still trying to build up to when we
Okay.
can finally beat those things. It's
Okay.
just sort of like a cool moment where you're facing these stupid odds, and then you're joined by people, and you realize like these are people that sacrifice themselves only to help me because I believe they can only help someone one time.
One person.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Okay, so I thought it would kind of build and build. Yeah, you know, like a Molyneux situation. It was
Yeah.
like, who's going to be the one person
No.
that does this first, and they get to be mayor
No,
of
no,
NieR
no.
3.
No. It's just a cool little way to like build a community without
Yeah.
building a
They
community.
they don't sounds like they don't have to be online to help. It's like it's just an
Yeah.
AI
Yeah.
partner.
To drive it.
You somehow are well, I think you have to be online to get their help,
Yeah.
obviously. But yes, you've told a server somewhere that take my life.
Yeah.
Fucking cool.
Wasn't the first NieR like kind of more of an RPG?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And there were different versions for Japan
Yeah.
and North America.
Yeah.
Very different characters, different soundtrack, I think.
Like
too.
same basic story and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, kind of
One
like
is a
you play
very-
as the brother or the, I forget what it is. but-
Yeah. One is a really like, Cro-Magnon looking dude in the West, and the
Mhm.
other is a very anime type character in the East.
So being taken over by Platinum, where's the stand in some of the other,
I'm not.
Are we talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or are we talking
Oh, no.
Bayonetta?
Certainly closer to Bayonetta for sure.
Cool.
It aligns, I think, perhaps more with Metal Gear Rising for me. But seems to be a lot of equipment, a lot of opportunities to get new gear, which I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
Rad.
Yeah.
I've decided to wait for the PC version.
Yeah, that's-
we got it in here like they sent it out like day before release or whatever, and so Alex has it. He's playing it for the site, and I'm just like, at this point, I've got enough Zelda to play that I'm gonna hold off.
Isn't it?
and
It's
play
out
on PC.
on PC this week.
Yeah.
I think. Okay.
17th.
17.
Or I guess that's still this
Friday?
week.
It's Friday-ish.
Yeah.
Friday. That's cool.
Hopefully that version's not fucked up. I guess.
yeah.
Like, who
Yeah,
knows,
I'm trying to think what is their track record on the PC.
Rising
was good.
Was Rising
Yeah.
the only?
Rising was
Was
good.
that the only game they've done on PC?
Platinum.
Yeah.
Turtles?
I don't know if Turtles or Transformers.
Yeah.
Did those come out on PC?
I don't remember.
I think Transformers did.
Transformers might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope-
That-
yeah,
and that
hopefully.
game was all right.
Hopefully they'll do a good job.
Yeah.
Peter,
Oh, yes.
let's circle back to you again. You've been playing some of the Mass Effect.
A little
You
bit.
mentioned.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And I think today's the day we can talk about like the first, like the intro mission. and
Yeah,
the
which
first-
I went to EA and played like a month ago, and then like the embargoes didn't line up with this podcast, so we never talked
Yeah.
about it on here. But yeah, I've also played through like the first hour, 90 minutes of that thing.
Did you play the other Mass Effect games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I played everything.
So I'm coming from the opposite position where I have not played.
How have you never played a Mass Effect game?
There's a lot of games I haven't
That's-
played, Brad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Sega Saturn.
Okay.
Library.
All right.
Okay.
God damn
Yeah,
it.
when you
No, I am having a hard time enjoying this game at the start.
Yeah.
For all the things that I expected from a BioWare game, like the dialogue and that sort of stuff, that's fine. I'm happy to do that all day. It's the actual like the action mechanics and the controls that are not doing it for me.
Hmm.
How advanced do you start off? Because the footage that we got after you did that event,
Yeah.
there was a lot of like jump, side boost, like
yeah,
it seemed
that
like
footage was full of abilities that I did not have access to.
all right,
at the
okay.
event.
So it seemed like there was like a real focus on mobility in this footage we got that I was like, okay, this might actually be kind of cool.
Yes, so you start off with like the ability to sort of have a jet jump
Yeah, they
and
give
a
you
jet
that
dash
pretty
as
early.
well.
Okay.
But,
At least in the build I picked. Like you have, I think like for any build, you have 2 little mobility things.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that stuff helps, like because the basic shooting really sucks. It's got one of those like soft cover systems where like when you get close to a thing, it's like, okay, I'm in cover now. Even though I didn't wanna
that's a
be,
change from I think even through 3 it was full on Gears of War, right?
Snap cover.
Just having
Yeah,
to walk up and hit A to
soft cover stuff. Like I think there's an elegance to it, and I get why some games would want to do it, but there's something to just knowing for certain I am in cover.
having control over it.
Yeah.
Like that was, I mean, that's my Wildlands experience is dude on the microphone being totally unclear about how to get into cover because he's expecting it to be an active system and not just like some passive thing.
Yeah.
So yes, you have those mobility things, which are great because if you find yourself shooting at enemies with your basic equipment, at least at the start, it feels very unsatisfying and like you're not really making much progress. I'm seeing a lot of enemies just stay behind cover. Okay, that's the game telling me to get up in their face. So I do that, and like, sure, I can win, but the encounters thus far are pretty simple. And I got to be fair, it's early in the game, but the basic movement, the sort of like start up and wind down of just the simple walk and run animation makes me want to tear my like
that's Mass
tear
Effect.
my hands off. Like
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah,
which is funny. I think I mentioned in that video we did that like they changed engines for this one, so they had every opportunity to like kind of go back and rethink the movement and all that stuff. But they stuck with, or they actually
like even like mid combat, it's still that kind of slow movement. Or
well,
is it just,
when you got your weapons out,
you've got to
run.
like
a month,
you're like
I
a
feel
little bit
it
more
was,
hunched over, and so in that point you're not building up as much
I
inertia
feel like
by
it was
swinging your shoulders.
similar
like
to the older
goofball,
games. Like your movement is a little more snappy when you're aiming.
Right.
When you're
Yeah.
you got a weapon out, but but especially in just the dialogue scenes, like when you're walking around a city or something.
Yeah, it's so arduous.
It feels like Mass Effect. I'll put it that way.
Which is what everyone else in the office is telling me, and I'm like, that's great. But
Yeah,
I don't have that
that's
frame.
great.
Of
You people are crazy.
I don't have that appreciation for.
Well, I don't know that I would
something.
say that it was even something worth appreciating back in the day. Like,
Sure.
it's just that's just how it was. It doesn't mean it's a good
Something
thing.
everyone got
No,
used to.
right.
Yeah.
No, I think that they appreciate it because it's.
It's familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I
They
would've-
didn't expect any more, and so they're not shocked by what isn't different. Whereas I'm just having a really hard time sticking with it.
Yeah.
I kind of made it a mission to play a lot this weekend, both for work and because I was looking forward to this game. Having not played the other ones, I figured this is a great place to start.
Yeah, and it seems like it's kind of a clean break.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, it takes place between 2 and 3, from what I understand, but like in a totally different part of the
I
galaxy.
think it's like way after anything that happened in the first games. It's like 600 years later.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm the last person to talk about it.
How is the story though? Are you finding it interesting?
It has a no, I'm not. It has a thing. There's a pivotal moment like 20 minutes, half an hour into the game that you kind of see coming, and the repercussions from that are just sort of like, okay, here's what's happening now because that happened. Just all right, go forth. And it doesn't feel like it sort of earns the stakes that it presents. It just sort
I
of
think
is.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it just kind of like makes it matter of fact. And if anything, that should have been like in the prologue or something, not like, I don't know. So I'm having a hard time with it, but
Yeah.
that's just me. And it's just the beginning.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not able to control your squad mates this time around. Correct?
You can tell them where to go.
Yeah, you can tell where to move for
which,
sure.
which is also super frustrating. I'm playing on console, so maybe on PC it's different with a mouse, right? But if I'm like, all right, I want you guys to stand here and defend this path, I have to tilt the camera just so.
Yeah.
And if it's off, they might be like 20 feet in the
Yeah.
wrong direction. So I'd be like, no, I need to tilt more down. Like,
That sounds kind of
it doesn't. Yeah. And I'm also finding the menu system to be incredibly fiddly and overwrought.
It was very dense. There's a lot of like sub menus.
Yeah,
and
and it's a nitpick, but like even the main menu, when you hit start, it brings you to this. It's not even like a radial menu. It's like a square with sections that are like curved off in weird ways. And you move the analog stick to go to a thing, but if you let go, it just goes right back to the center. So if you're like off, which you can be because these are irregular shapes, you're kind of like doing this weird thing to get in there. And there's like no quick way to get in your inventory. I just find it so hard to get anything done in this game in an efficient manner.
I kind of had the same experience at that preview event, but I chalked that up to like I've never sat in front of this game before. Like I'm sure I would get used to it, but maybe you don't.
I'm just an impatient man, I guess.
No. I'm not, like maybe it is actually a problem. I'm still gonna give this game a chance, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to keep trying it.
Some of the story stuff I saw at that event kind of had me walking away with some reservations.
What about the character creation?
They didn't let us go through that. They gave us a save to use at this.
Good.
And it was the default. It was the default. Like, hey, we modeled this person after an actor or something like that. Like I didn't get to
Default
mess.
marketing.
Weird looking
basically,
human.
yes.
Yeah, no, all the aliens look great in this game. The humans look strange. Do not look good. They
Again,
really
that's
don't look
Mass
good.
Effect.
Yeah, okay.
Is it though?
My bad.
I don't know.
It's
Actually, I think like maybe this one's taking it to a different place or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like some of the proportions on character faces and stuff like that of the art that I've seen just doesn't. It seems like they're going for like this cartoony look or something.
Yeah,
it's like a
there's something-
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't look right.
I mean, granted, I always played default male shepherd in the old
Yeah, me
games,
too.
but like I always thought that was a really good, realistic looking character
But
model.
god damn it, if I'm gonna put a beard on a character, it needs to be more than a texture. That's all the beards are.
Yeah.
That's all mine is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a
Huh.
point. Yeah, I could nitpick all day.
Mm.
I just don't. It's not the right time, not the right game for me.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Well, we'll check back in with that one soon.
yeah,
That's out real soon, right? Is that
Next
next
week,
week?
yeah,
next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It feels like it kind of.
2017, stop, man.
It feels like it kind of snuck up. I mean, they had that one event.
Oh.
They've put out a couple trailers here and there.
Yeah.
But like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it feels like a Mass Effect.
Every time they put assets out, I feel like all I see is people picking them apart and going like,
Yeah.
"Why does this look terrible? It's just like, why do all these aliens look messed up? Why do these
Yeah.
human faces look bad?
Yeah.
Like, what is with these characters? Like it's been a lot.
Maybe
of,
a
lot of that.
Maybe it's just a lot of lingering resentment over 3.
Probably.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Like I just feel like a release of a new Mass Effect game used to get a whole lot more like fanfare.
This is PC as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think people that I've talked to are having a better time when playing it on PC.
Mm.
Okay.
So that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Wait for the clean human faces mod.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
yes. Of course. Clean aliens, please. All right. Let's move into some news for the week. There's the music. Time Magazine got scored an interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé
Mm-hmm.
of Nintendo Land.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, they basically sat him down and kind of like put the hard questions to him about the state of the Switch launch.
Stared him down and 1-2 switch and asked the
Yes.
hard question.
Exactly. They brought their sword down on him, and he tried to catch it. Yeah, they were asking him about the kind of the left Joy-Con connectivity stuff, like the screen scratching stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
You've had some screen scratch.
oh, did you
Hell
get that?
no.
Oh, okay. I thought you had.
Put a screen protector on that thing day one.
Okay, but I thought you had said that the screen protector was getting
It getting smudged.
like marked up in the spot where the
Smudged.
scratches happen.
Yes,
Okay.
but not physically deformed by scratches. It's literally just like a smudge from the material.
Oh, okay.
Get a screen protector
All
because most people I've talked to now are experiencing scratches.
Mhm.
I saw, God, I think it was on like Reddit or something. Some guy was posting that his wife had started sewing little microfiber like cozies for the dock.
Yeah,
Huh.
That they're going to now start like
wow.
selling on Etsy or whatever.
yeah. So
It's just like it's like perfectly sized. It's a little like
Yeah.
slip
Right.
cover for the dock
Little
to
sock
like,
for it.
make it like soft when you slip the thing in there.
you shouldn't have to do that.
I
Yeah,
totally
dock sock,
agree.
make it soft.
That's terrible, but at the same time, you don't want to scratch up your Switch
Just take some sandpaper to that thing.
screen.
Seriously, go to the inside. Just take a little sandpaper. You know,
Yeah.
change grains.
Like the way you think.
I would never go to the effort, but
Let's see. Yeah, so it was the Joy-Con connectivity, the dock scratching stuff. What was the other one? I'm trying to. It's a kind of a long interview here.
The lack of games.
They didn't quite go that far.
All right.
Those were the two, like in terms of defects or whatever. But the point is that like the kind of the gist of all his answers was like, hey, call our consumer support, like talk to those people. But
You mean you're like was the interviewer going like, "Hey, my Joy-Con doesn't work.
He's like,
Can
what
you
do I-
help me?"
what do I look like to
no,
you?
but like that he basically used that as a lead-in to like the way he put it was we are in a fact-finding mode to really understand the situation and the scenarios, and with that information, we'll look and see what the next steps are. So like.
So nothing off the table in terms of like recalling left
that's
Joy-Cons.
the thing. He,
or...
like that language almost sounds like it's laying the groundwork for
Yeah.
like we will maybe offer some kind of like Joy-Con replacement
I
program.
feel like I heard that people were busting the
Maybe.
Joy-Cons open and like attaching antennas
yeah,
onto
Yeah.
the antenna to fix the issue.
There are like YouTube
and-
videos floating around of how to do that.
I'm just realizing, why not just put a piece of tape over the things on the inside of the dock?
Yeah.
Just take some tape and just cover that plastic
I
thing.
guess that would work. Is there like I haven't looked?
I got some
down-
tape at home. I might actually do that.
I'll
I haven't,
order some
I haven't
tape.
looked down in there. Is there like a specific offending surface
There are
that's
these
very obvious?
Yeah, these two little like lips on the inside.
okay.
They're about half inch.
I see.
An inch tall.
Okay.
It's covered with some Scotch tape.
Yeah.
Just get a thing of WD-40 and just start spraying it inside the dock. No problem.
Spray it in your eye.
Yeah.
They asked him about the dock disappearing, like secondary dock disappearing from the Nintendo store, and he just said it's like, hey, we didn't make enough of them.
Sold out.
We're
Okay.
we're ramping up production. But then they also asked him about like, hey, are you guys going to put out just a straight up like cable that will work with this thing that you can plug into a TV without the dock, so you can like travel with it and stuff. And he was like pretty candid about the fact that no, we're not necessarily thinking about that, but I'm sure there will be plenty of unlicensed solutions showing up.
Oh, totally.
Like
yeah.
he literally used the word unlicensed third-party solutions. So like he kind of said like, yeah, we might not do that, but that will probably exist in the near future for
Reggie knows.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just a USB-C connector down at the bottom of the dock, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you just use some
You
sort of
could just get an
breakout box.
extender right now and extend it out of that and just
Well,
hide
don't
the
know.
dock
I don't know
somewhere.
if
To your dock.
you can't do it right from the tablet. We tried.
Yeah. I think there's some weird authentication going on with that dock, right?
The possibly. I do know the power adapter is putting out a lot of juice, like more than is typical for things like USB-C related. So I don't know if that has.
I've
to do
seen
with-
people using like extension cables from the dock to
Yeah,
the
I would figure
actual-
you could do
Oh.
that. Just use an extension cable, plug it into the
Yeah.
USB-C, and then
Sure,
instead of
okay,
dropping
yeah,
it in the
sorry.
dock,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
cable and you throw the dock behind your
Okay.
TV.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go that way with it. There was also, I saw some shots that someone had kind of just ripped a dock apart basically and created a standalone thing that you can kind of set the switch on and just plug.
Some kind of Ben Heck device.
Yeah, like way less elegant. You look at it and go like, oh, now I just set it down and plug a cable into it. That's way less cool than me dropping it in this.
But he did it himself.
Yeah, I guess.
And then lastly, they hit him up about the lack of save file transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is an
and-
intense time article.
Yeah, I guess, and also asked about stuff like video capture and streaming and stuff like that. His response was, "We are aware of consumer desires."
Yeah.
So just like with the video on demand potential capabilities downstream, we're aware of this. We are always in active discussions. We have nothing to announce right now.
I mean, that seems like something they could easily fix with firm. By the time they have
Yeah.
another Switch SKU to sell you with whatever, it's neon blue,
Yeah.
the tablet itself now, or whatever.
Whatever would
then-
make you want to move your saves to another
Right.
Switch.
But like that'll happen right now with like, let's say you have two kids, you bought one Switch for both of them, they can't share. You damn kids
Yes.
can't get along, so
Yes.
you go like, well, I guess I got to buy another Switch for this other damn kid, and now that kid is asked out if he's got like saves that they want to transfer. Like,
Yeah.
that could potentially be happening right now.
Yes.
But I mean, whatever. I had to restart Zelda, but actually it worked out great. Like restarting Zelda was the thing that made me like it. I think.
Like,
came in with prior knowledge.
start and do things more efficiently.
Yeah, like being able to get off that initial plateau way faster, and just
Yeah.
like making some different choices about like early game stamina and stuff like that.
Well, that's a
Like,
great thing about that game is that like no two like playthroughs of that thing have to be remotely the same. You
Yeah.
can just go in any direction, do whatever. Anyway, like it's nice to see him kind of copping to some of this stuff and at least leaving the door open for some fixes.
Yeah, I mean,
on some of this stuff.
they're not crazy. They'll have, if it's not like a full on system transfer, then at least they'll be like, hey, I need to, like these saves are tied to an account. Let me move them to another like Switch that has this same account on it. Because right now, if you pull a micro SD out of that thing and stick it into another Switch, it just says this was used on another Switch. Delete everything.
Fuck no.
So you have to. I mean, but your saves aren't stored there,
Right.
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
All it's doing
so
is deleting the games you've
the data,
downloaded.
yeah.
Oh, that seems
which
extra
Then you
dumb,
have, you have to re-download the games. Like, there's no reason why you couldn't just authenticate
Yeah.
and go like, "Hey, I still own these," and have it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a weird like anti-piracy safeguard, perhaps. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you can
Yeah.
rip that SD out and put it in a PC and get
true.
at all those files. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not really
Gotcha.
not that you can do anything with them right now, but like people are out there going like, "Do you want to download the Switch version of Zelda?" And you're like, "Fucking no, dumbass. Why? What?"
PlayStation Now is getting PS4 games.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what's the deal with that? Like, it used to be like on a per game basis. Is that right?
I think didn't it? I think it launched where you had to buy games piecemeal, and
Okay.
then they added the
It
subscription,
was
or maybe they
it
launched
was
with
two
both.
tiered. It was
Yeah.
like some were streamable, some you had to purchase outright.
Okay.
I think you
Gotcha.
could even rent some games.
Yeah, they
as
definitely
well.
had like a 90-day rental and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what is it now? Just like
there's a monthly fee.
Monthly
It's
fee. and you
$20
get
now.
access
It's
to
just
everything on
$20 a month, and you get like a library of PS3 games.
Isn't there also like
pretty cool.
$100 a year option?
there? I don't know.
I think that
There
might be the
no,
case.
no.
But yeah, it was all PS3 games up until now, and now they say they're going to add PS4 games, but they haven't said what any of the games are.
I wonder if this is like their response to the Xbox Game
Yeah,
Pass
yeah.
stuff.
So this is
Leveraging
twice-
that streaming stuff, just like whatever.
It's kind of weird to stream games to a console that is capable of running those games natively.
Yeah.
Because like streaming is never going to be as good as just playing it locally.
It does work
Sure.
on PCs now.
But that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could,
Yeah.
you could just not even have a PS4 and like just stream
Bloodborne.
Uncharted 4 or Bloodborne to your PC, assuming they add those games.
For $20 a month. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really not a bad deal. Like
Um,
I kind of turned around on the game streaming stuff after getting that Shield tablet, and their service works really good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I'll look at this PlayStation Now thing. 'Cause it's really
The
nice
PlayStation
having
Now is totally
shit, like,
functional.
on
Like,
hand.
it works.
Yeah.
It works. It just, it's like you
There are
see
totally
enough of the
better options out
artifacting.
there.
You see
Yeah,
enough of the
absolutely.
stuff.
As
It's
the,
just like,
I haven't used it
ugh.
in a long time, but when it first came out, like the latency was just enough that I was like, this is not quite. It's playable depending
Yeah.
on the game. It's
Mm.
it's totally playable, but it's not quite there.
If they do a PlayStation Now and PlayStation View bundle, I might be interested.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used my PlayStation. So when you use like the Sci-Fi Channel app or whatever, you have to go and pick like your
Provider.
cable
Providers,
provider
yeah.
and log in with those credentials. There is no Sci-Fi app for PS4, only for Xbox. So because I have PlayStation View, I used my PlayStation View login on my Xbox to access the app.
Wow.
Weird.
Weird.
It was great.
Nice.
Like in that browser, it pops up PlayStation View on my Xbox. It's great.
Huh.
But
Cool.
it works.
Still no word about PS1 or PS2 games on this thing.
Yeah, like that's
I feel like that's kind of the thing I would be more excited about.
It'd be nice if you could play PS1 games.
That's all I want. Just PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like $20 a month to stream games doesn't seem anywhere as good as the $10 a month
Yeah.
to play those games on your console that the Xbox stuff is offering.
Depends on the lineup.
But yeah,
But
we'll,
yeah.
we'll see what they're.
Like most of their PS3 lineup. Whatever. There have been big PS3 games on that service, but then if you're just playing by the numbers, like over 200, whatever they tout, like a lot of those games are just like PSN games that are just ass.
Yeah.
Like Heavy Fire Afghanistan, just like these fucking lame shooters.
That's not a
Just-
video game.
It's barely. It's like a mobile game that I think they
Oh,
ported
wow.
to PS3.
Wow.
If I remember right, but yeah.
Madden 2013.
It's the
No,
vintage-
that's
it's a-
you got to sign up for the EA Vault if you want that
Oh.
kind of hot action.
That's a vintage year. You guys care about more legal trouble between John Carmack and ZeniMax?
Always, I want to know
Yeah.
what John Carmack is doing.
John Carmack, legal
the
briefing of the week.
the John Carmack lawsuit of the week
Lawsuit of the week.
is that he's suing ZeniMax for.
22 million.
So yeah, like the headline says 22 million. I pulled this off Kotaku, but like it looks like the Dallas News originally reported it. He's suing them for more than $22.5 million, quote unquote. Although later in this complaint somewhere, basically he is alleging that they have not paid him for what he is owed for the sale of id Software.
Right.
Like he wanted to cash out all the shares of ZeniMax that he has.
And their counter argument is like, well, you screwed the pooch when you stole our stuff.
Right.
Like he's like, that's not
yeah.
different stuff.
Like they are basically, just like his legal brief or his whatever it's called that you file, like literally uses the phrase "sour grapes"
Yeah.
as the reason that they are refusing to pay, or not even pay, like convert these shares. Like I think he holds the shares that he was supposed to get, and they are like refusing to convert those into cash or whatever it is. It's I guess this thing is notable because it reveals that ZeniMax paid $150 million for id. Is what this is saying, which I'm kind of surprised by.
think it's low.
Kinda. I don't know.
When you think of where it was at when they sold,
I guess so.
Right.
That was before Rage even came out, so they were like years and
Oh,
years
wow.
into a game that was like not
yeah,
coming along well or something. Whatever was going on with that project, yeah.
Right.
They were
Mega
kind of,
textures.
kind of at a
Yeah.
low point, I guess, operationally. But still, like the developer that made Doom and Quake. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like some valuable IP.
yeah, like the IP rights.
yeah,
at
that
some
stuff
point.
seems
Mhm.
Anyway, I don't know. That's what came out of this case, and who knows where this is going to go. Just nonstop volleys back and forth
Sure.
between these two parties. Jeff, do you care at all about this Division Year 2 stuff?
Oh yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it.
Being free.
Well, that's probably the right price, I'll say.
Yes.
I like the Division. It got away from me at some point, and I think it got away from them at some point.
Yeah.
Where like by the end of the first DLC, like I was like, I think I'm probably done with the Division. But
Yeah.
I like a lot of things about that game. Like that's the stuff that like it seems like they've made improvements and all that, but it just felt like it felt like Star Trek Online to me, where like you step away from it. Any live game for a while, you come back and it's like it hits you with like 9 menus about the changes they made.
Yeah.
And it's all gibberish because you're like, I haven't played this game in 6 months.
Right.
So when you talk about like gear score and all this other stuff, like I only have a basic loose grasp of what you're even talking about.
Yeah.
So at some point it was like, okay, we changed all this stuff, but it didn't say here's what you do to advance now. At no point was it like, this is the thing you should be doing to get loot.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't know. So I only care academically, I guess, but in theory, I wish that I maybe had played a little bit more endgame Division as they started to
Was there
fix it. I mean, they added
in-game
that
stuff?
was
Yeah.
all the DLC.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, just the stuff they added.
Yeah.
Seemed kind of smart at least.
I
don't know.
It sounds like they're being super vague about like there's going to be 2 expansions coming out this year, and a bunch of like bonus like XP trinkets and stuff like that.
Huh.
But they haven't gone into like an extreme amount of detail on any of that stuff. And
Playing Wildlands maybe wish that they had already announced like long-term plans for a sequel to the Division and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like Wildlands was just kind of like the game's a bummer in a lot of ways, but it definitely got me thinking about the Division again for whatever reason.
Yeah, like it makes me wonder if like what's the strategy behind putting all this stuff out for free this year? Like just to keep people in that game until they can get a sequel out?
They just like saw their player accounts dwindle. Like no one's talking about the Division.
Yeah,
like, the game
yeah,
came
of course,
and went. And,
of course. But,
their DLC probably helped bring back some diehard players, but it didn't exactly bring back a wider audience.
Right.
I don't think.
But like, what's the long-term goal of getting people back in
The long-term
Division
goal is to get people to feel good about the Division. So when they do announce the sequel,
Yes.
people will go like, "Oh, I've had year 2 of all this free DLC."
Right. That's my assumption.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah. Even though like you would assume if this free stuff is going to be super great, they would be talking more specifically about what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
There was some word going around that Massive was working on something else though.
Hmm.
That they had some other I guess that maybe they could be, but an Avatar? No, was it? Anyway, I thought I'd heard that their name was attached to some other project.
you could maybe see a Division sequel being like farmed out to some other Ubisoft studio.
That doesn't sound like a great move, but okay.
Multiplication.
Shrug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly, even though I'm bummed that none of you got to try Quake Champions at PAX, they've come out and confirmed that it's going to be free to play.
Oh.
And that the Ranger
nice.
class is going to be the free to play class.
That's the Quake. I mean, that's
Is that the guy?
Probably,
is that
right?
the Quake guy? I assume that's the Quake guy, which might be all that you'd need.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I took I walked past it, looked at it a little bit. It seemed like it was moving very quickly.
Yeah.
The game?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Not the
like
line.
I said, like PAX, the show floor
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
a fucking train wreck.
Sure,
So.
sure. It sounds like that closed beta is going to be starting pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I'm super looking forward to that. But yeah, you get the Ranger class for free, and then you buy other characters. So there's that.
Okay.
I'm very curious about that game.
Yeah.
The League model.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
assume
Oh,
they
I
sell
guess-
cosmetics or something too, but yeah.
No word on rotation yet.
No,
Right, yeah.
You would assume they would probably. Well, I mean, according to this, you just get the one class. They
Right.
didn't say anything about
Hmm.
making others free periodically or anything like that.
Okay.
But we will see. All right. You want to read some emails?
Yes. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I would rather have some emails read to me.
Okay. I can probably accommodate that
Okay,
request.
great.
First email comes in from Ben.
I don't even know where to send
He
these
sent
emails.
it to bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Okay.
Way ahead of you. I found a funny trick in Breath of the Wild that I haven't seen anyone else talk about. I think I kind of touched on this already, but when you're on a raft, use magnesis to pick up a chest. Oh no, this is a different trick than the octo balloons.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on a raft, use magnesis to pick up a chest, metal boulder, or even your iron hammer. If you move the object up against the mast, bow, bilge, port, deck, port or starboard, you can use the fake-ass switch D-pad to push the item forward, and it turns your raft into a jet boat.
Whoa.
This can lead to some amazing antics, especially if you start by attaching 4 Octorok balloons to the quarters. There you go.
Wait,
what?
there was a lot of boating terms thrown.
Yeah,
at me.
that was written. It was so basically he's saying get on the raft.
Yes.
Use magnesis to pick
Yes.
up a metal object. You know how you can use D-pad up and down to
Yeah.
move it in and out.
So you can
of the-
basically propel.
Yeah, like basically he's saying move it into the mast or the sail and just hit up so you're pushing
Right,
it against the boat.
right.
And apparently it propels the shit out of the boat.
Holy
I have
shit.
yet to move a boat.
Really?
I understand you use a leaf to do
Yeah.
it, but
Yes.
I was just
It's
Well, if you
I
eat,
barely ever see
if you eat
leaves.
fermented food as well, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
fart.
okay. All right.
nice.
This game is deep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
there,
serious?
I wish.
Oh, I can't tell.
there,
It's
there,
just like, all right.
there is at least one location that you have to use a raft to get to. At least I assume, because I don't
Yes.
think you could possibly have enough stamina to fly all the way out there, or get
Well,
high enough to fly all the way out there. I
nah,
think you would have to take a raft.
There are things you don't know yet, young Brad.
Okay.
Bradley.
This game holds a lot of secrets, but yeah, using the leaf to steer a boat is like kind of tedious
A little bit.
because you have to just like do this a bunch to make it move,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
if you want to change direction, you stop and move around to the other side
Yeah.
and do it like it. But you can pick up a lot of speed though.
You can,
when
yeah.
you
Once
get going
you,
on one of those things,
right, you swing enough times, you'll build up enough speed, and you can kind of just keep that going
Yeah.
with fewer swings.
Yeah, but I want to try this guy's method. That sounds
Yeah.
cool.
I might do that on the stream I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
When is that?
Thursday.
Nice.
It's called the Triforce. TRY Force.
Okay,
Okay.
All
Because
right,
we're really
all right.
smart.
okay,
Yeah.
I approve.
Yeah.
I'm into that. It's kind of like Zelda sports. It sounds like some
We're just
Zelda
gonna-
Olympics.
We're just gonna try to do wacky shit and
Yeah.
have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if you
Didn't want to go with Z Sports.
It's also pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Tim writes in and said he's from Columbus, Ohio. He says, I was curious what your experience was with the coin line on an arcade machine in the 90s. In 1992, I was 10, and I remember thinking that it was a terrible idea to put my precious quarter on that machine without anything distinguishing it from some other person's quarter. Luckily for me, people at my local arcade didn't seem to use it anyway. They just formed a line behind the people playing.
Really?
Excuse me. Specifically, my questions are these. Did people actually use the coin line at any of the arcades you guys have been to? Did everybody do it, or just some people in line? When the next person was up, did you take the coin from the front and move all of the other coins, or just take the one from the back?
Yeah, we would put quarters up on the machine.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he's talking about, because there were some like aftermarket little things that had slots for 10 coins that sometimes operators would have fixed to the machines.
Oh,
I don't
I've
think
never
I've
seen
Is
that.
this a
before.
West Coast thing? Because it
I've
was.
never heard of that. Yeah.
There was always just a line of people with quarters and clutch. No one ever put it up. On
Really?
the screen.
No, yeah. I mean, I think of
guys
it as
didn't
more
quarter
of
up?
an 80s
No.
thing that eventually faded away once
Really?
people realized that this
Yeah.
was a dumb way to lose your money.
I
but
guess I wasn't
but
playing
yeah.
arcade games until like 90 or something.
I
like
never
that.
saw it.
But it
Where
was
I-
a big fighting game thing,
Yeah.
at least through like early MK and Street
Yeah.
Fighter.
Where I
I was
lived-
there for that
Yeah.
stuff.
Where I lived, it was specifically around like MK2 when it became a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but people do
Uh,
it for like Pac-Man and stuff like that.
That I
But-
never
but-
saw.
yeah.
Like so.
I didn't know about it until I was working at 1UP and did an episode of the 1UP show. Like, all right, so we're gonna do this Street Fighter skit. Need you to quarter up, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? They
Yeah.
had to explain it to me, and I felt like such an idiot. But it's also like,
Yeah, it was
just
fun
wait in
because
line?
you could really fucking slap it against the glass and
yes.
make it look like
Yeah.
a
Yes.
showy, like I am
Yep.
here to play,
That's
fuckers.
right.
Like
That's
there was kind of that
Jeff's
aspect
here.
of it.
That's how it was specifically when I was playing a lot of MK2. There was this real like declaration of intent when you
Right.
slap the quarter down against the glass, because like you would stand there watching a guy play for a while and like size him up,
Yeah.
And when you slam that quarter down, it was like, all right, I think I can take you. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah, like it was definitely
Like
part of the whole thing.
Like
if it's okay, I'm gonna put my quarter here, and maybe we'll fight. That's all
Yeah.
right.
No, it very much always came
Yeah.
off as like I got
Yeah.
next. Like I think I've got you on this.
Huh.
It was fun.
But yeah, then there were some that would just be like it's got little crescents that'll hold
Right.
10 quarters, and I think that's maybe what he's talking about in terms of like moving other quarters forward.
Okay.
but I would just
never
grab
s-
my quarter and put it in, and if there were other
How'd you
quarters
know it
on
was
the
yours?
line, because I knew what turn I was, because it's usually you wouldn't see more than 2 or 3 up.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
other thing. Like there would never be more than like one quarter on a machine where I was at.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
It's not like people were lining up like 10 deep to
yeah.
take their turn or something.
And also sometimes you would like go to put your fucking money on the screen, and someone playing a game would get really pissed off because you're like all in their space doing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fucked up thing to do, but
It's also super embarrassing when you can't get the quarter off. Like it's kind of stuck
Or
to it in
some
the groove,
machines-
and it's like, okay, my turn. It's like, oh shit.
I always
this is
wondered
the only
if
token I
operators
have.
if operators would like loosen up that gap a little bit, because some machines you'd put a quarter on and drop it and it would
Slide
just
down.
slide down. You'd be like, well, fucking great.
Nice.
Tony over there is like, got him again.
Yeah.
It was a real racket.
That's $2 this
Yeah, the
week.
guy's got like 250 at the end of a shift or something.
We went to the
But it's like super embarrassing because it's like I just fucking quartered up. I got next, and it's
Yeah.
like
It's like, oops.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Let me try and get this. You lose all your.
We went to an
All your
arcade
cred.
in New Hampshire over the weekend.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry I missed that.
I had a great time going out there and playing a bunch of crazy.
Is that the one
crazy.
that's closing soon?
So apparently it's not closing.
Oh.
The rumors were going around that the Pinball Wizard was maybe going to shut down, but they've apparently got a lease and it's not a
Crisis
problem.
averted.
Yeah. But they have like all these. They have a ton of pinball machines there. They had the Lord of the Rings machine, which is I think like it's one of the ones that just has a straight up screen
Oh, is it
in the back
Jersey
glass.
Jack?
Yeah, I think it's a Jersey Jack
Okay.
machine. And just some cool stuff
Was it
there.
cool?
But yeah, it was pretty neat. And I ended up tearing Dan apart at Blitz again twice.
Is he sticking to that story? Because
He periscoped it, so there's no getting
good.
around it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
Good.
done.
Good. Attaboy.
Yeah.
Jake writes in from Illinois. In 1995, Sega released the Nomad, a portable system that would allow you to play home console games on your TV and on the go. Was Sega 20 years ahead of its time? I desperately wanted one of these as a child and remember fondly staring at one behind glass at my local Toys R Us. Have any of you had any experience with the Sega Nomad? How does it compare to the Nintendo Switch experience?
I mean, the battery life is shit.
Yeah.
My
also
experience
said
lasted
100%.
as long as like the 8 batteries or whatever.
Yeah.
It was
took,
what was
and
it?
I'm
Wasn't it
took
like
like six
insane,
AAs
like
or
six
something. It was
AAs or
just
something,
like-
and then it lasted what, like a couple hours or
If
something?
that, yeah.
So the
thing's
Nomad
terrible.
is a 95 invention, but the Super Game Boy was earlier than that, right?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
So I guess you're not playing console games on the go, but you do still have a way to play games in two different formats
Mhm.
Sure.
Guess so.
to a degree.
Yeah.
I liked my Sega Nomad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about a Master Gear converter for a Game Gear that lets you play Master System games in a Game Gear?
I always thought that was cool, but I hated that you couldn't do the reverse. You couldn't
Yeah.
play Game Gear games on a Master System
Yeah.
because of some palette disagreement. Like,
Mhm.
I liked my Game Gear too.
Yeah.
I had the external battery pack that looked like an old like telephone receiver.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Nice.
that size.
Wow.
and
Did it have
you
a strap?
bolted to the back of it. No, I think it was hooks.
okay. No, I mean like a strap to carry over your shoulder because it's just so big.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But
But that thing must have been like 5 pounds to hold. It
Jeez.
Yeah.
was
But even before that was
humongous.
the Turbo Express.
I was
which
about to
yeah.
say I
Right,
never
right.
had any of the stuff in question here, but I knew somebody that had a Turbo Express and the TV tuner,
Yeah.
and that thing blew my fucking mind.
Wait, what is that?
It was a TV tuner.
It's
It was
a
just
portable TurboGrafx Express.
The Turbo Express is basically shaped like a
Shaped
Game
like a
Boy,
Game
but it's a portable
Mhm.
TurboGrafx.
the resolution's a little bit less, but for all intents and purposes.
And
it's-
since that thing used just cards, they became very portable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the TV tuner was just plugged in and had an antenna that stuck out, and you could just straight up watch TV on your Turbo Express, and that thing like
I
there's
remember
a TV tuner for Game Gear as well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing ads for that. And like back like growing up as a kid in that era, the thought of a portable television was absolutely mind blowing.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like that
This
and
thing's
and
magic.
pocket communicators.
Yeah. Yep. It's like a straight up Dick Tracy watch or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, how does this technology exist? This isn't real.
It wasn't long after I met Ryan McDonald. We were going to probably both of our first CES show, if I had to guess. If not our first, then like our second. And I remember on the flight back, he had his Turbo Express out, and he had hooked up. I think there was a way to get video in to the Turbo Express. I think through the TV tuner. God, I don't even know how he had it rigged up, but he was basically like watching a bootleg copy of Pulp Fiction on the flight with all of this gear out. Just
On the Turbo Express?
yeah, I believe it was on the Turbo Express screen.
And then
Wow.
he duct taped it all to this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I remember thinking like, man, I got to get one of those.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's a very Ryan McDonald move.
Yes.
Thomas from California. I have a bet with my brother about a conversation that may or may not have happened on the Bombcast. The conversation dealt with Jeff talking about owning a portable Atari 2600 made by Ben Heck. The point of contention with my brother being that I thought Jeff said that the Atari quickly broke. Is this true, or did I just mistake what I heard?
No, that thing's sitting on my desk right now.
And it
Yeah.
works?
He might
Yeah.
have been thinking of the Denny's thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Denny's
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I brought that in to try to test out the cartridges that came with that Denny's thing, only to discover that those cards don't actually do anything, or at least not on a real Atari.
How'd you get that handheld? 2600.
Joe Fielder bought it from Ben Heckendorn, who made a limited number of those things years and years ago and just sold them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And
I don't know if it was like a one of a kind of thing.
they're now, it's like serial number 11. He went
It's
through
handmade though.
Yeah, it's handmade.
Yeah.
He went through a handful of different revisions of making portable 2600s. And it'll take like a camcorder battery in it to be actually portable.
That's incredible.
And it does have video out, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I think when Joe was leaving town, when he was moving away, he got rid of a bunch of stuff, and maybe this might have been before that, but at some point I bought it off him.
Rad. Cool.
Yeah.
That Ben Heck, man.
He's got a pretty thriving YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen his stuff.
Hell of a rapper as well.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen him do karaoke.
Oh, wow.
And he is something special.
I've never met him before, but
That guy's super cool.
he's currently, I think this is his most recent project from the looks of it. Yeah, he's currently working on an Xbox One S laptop.
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Which
I think he sells stuff that like developers use for like controller latency and stuff. It's stuff like where you put into your build, you put something that makes it flash white on the screen every time the button is pressed or something, and then you stick a thing to it and have a specific controller that he makes, and it'll tell you the round trip on button press to result.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's cool.
And his Bill Paxton pinball machine.
right.
That thing is beautiful.
Mhm.
Andy from Ottawa wants to know where Luchadeer's at.
Sitting over behind my desk.
Can't remember seeing him since the move downstairs. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's chilling.
I put some pictures up on Instagram a while ago.
Straight chilling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Originally, we were thinking
He'll
about
be
putting them
coming
up
back,
behind
yeah.
your head here.
We talked about it, but
It's tough
It would
because
be a very
you got to
tight
be able to
fit.
walk.
Yeah,
by.
and so we would have to put it up so high that it wouldn't even show in the camera
Right,
shot. So at that
right.
point, it's like, well, it's
Yeah.
probably not worth it.
yeah, and if it was low enough, if somebody's sitting here and somebody else needs to get around them, it would be near impossible to
They would have to like
fit behind.
lean over you.
Yeah,
Right.
It makes it a little tough.
Yeah.
Would be hot.
We just got to get all this
would be-
production stuff out of here. Like this
Right.
huge desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
And
these,
then
get all these
lights
mics out of
and-
here and all
yeah.
this crap. And
Put the important stuff in here.
yeah.
He's well though.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie writes in.
From where?
He doesn't say.
Mysterious.
I know.
The internet.
You could draw some conclusions, perhaps, though.
Huh.
I've been gaming for many years, and throughout those years, I have gone through a lot of different machines, but one stands out to me as a mystery, and I was wondering if you guys could shed some light on it. The Atari XE. I remember the following games: Bug Hunt, Missile Command, and Flight Simulator 2, and that it had different colored buttons on it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know where this console came from, but recently I have played around with the idea of going back home and trying to dig it out to see what the hell it really was. What is this thing, and why am I not hearing a lot about it? Was it horrible, an EU knockoff of sorts? Is it worth digging back out? And what was with those pale colored buttons?
It is.
So many questions.
It's a reconfigured. I believe it's a reconfigured Atari home computer.
Okay, that I googled it briefly, and that seemed to be
yeah,
it seemed to be in that category.
It's like a consoleized form
Yes, 'cause it
factor
looks
of
like a
like the
console.
Atari 800 or the XL XE line.
Yeah.
That they put out the XE. It's commonly called the XEGS, the XE game
Okay.
system.
Yes.
And they had a light gun for it, which I think was the one unique thing. So Bug Hunt, I think, is a light gun game.
Okay.
Which is weird because the 5200 is also based on that exact same hardware.
Huh.
So it might just be like slightly like because they continued that line a little bit and made some slight changes when they get to like what is it, like the 1040 XL or whatever it was. So I think the XEGS is like one of the last things Atari did with that hardware. And it was just like some stopgap thing of just like, I don't know, let's put this out of the console. It'll play all the games we already put out for these home computers. And maybe we can get another like year out of this software or whatever. And I don't think anyone really cared.
That didn't happen.
And the 7800 was also like kind of a dismal failure.
Yeah.
That was them like turning down Nintendo. Because originally I want to say Nintendo went to Atari to say like, hey, do you want to market the Famicom here? And they were like,
Man,
fuck no.
what a different video game industry we
Yeah.
might have if that had gone through.
And the 7800 had like the 2600 sound hardware in it, so like it had slightly better graphics, not up to par with the Famicom,
Nice.
but then all the sound was still just this fucking garbage.
Man, you wonder why the crash happened.
Yeah, I mean, with people like that running decisions, they probably wouldn't have been. I mean, the Famicom under them probably would not have done well either, because they probably just wouldn't have had the money to get it out there the right way.
That XE looks weird. Like, it's got those 4 giant buttons on it. They're like pastel colored, like light pink and like a cyan color. They look like Easter eggs or something. It's like a
so
weird
then,
thing.
what's the Atari ST? Because I thought
That's
one
an
you were
That is a
describing-
16-bit
that's a
computer.
straight-up
That's
computer.
that's a newer. So that's like to the Amiga as the Atari 800 stuff is to the Commodore 64. It's like it's like a new generation.
Okay. Well, because what you just described, I've definitely seen that before, but I didn't realize, I think, how dated it was.
Do you know if the XE was Europe only?
I think there were some NTSC ones. I don't actually know for sure, but I don't think I've ever encountered one in real actual life. But yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Will writes in from London. Do you remember that amazing feeling of getting your first proper game console? The Christmas my mom and dad got me the N64 I had been begging for all year. Was hands down the best Christmas ever. I want to capture that feeling for my nephew, who is turning 8 in September. My sister has asked me which console to buy him for his big day. As being the nerdiest of my family, I am the go-to source for tech-centric advice. The problem is I genuinely have no idea what to tell her. Which of the big three consoles do I tell her to go for? Which of them has the best experience for a fresh young gamer? PS4, Xbox, or Switch?
I don't even. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah,
there are not a lot of kids games on consoles anymore.
No, but so I got a 10-year-old nephew, and so I've seen and he like idolizes me because he loves video games, and so I hear about all these things. He has a Wii U. He's had it for a couple years. He likes to play things like Splatoon and Mario Kart, whatever. But at the end of the day, he is always envious of his friends who have a PlayStation 4. That is because he wants to play Call of Duty. He wants to, be a part of this thing that is bigger than him, where the Wii U is maybe just as big as him in terms of like, like there's not as much out there for him to explore and find. Like he'll tell me about, he's going through the eShop and he'll find a couple things, and I'll talk to him a couple weeks later. He's like, yeah, I tried those 2 games. There's nothing really left for me there. So I think probably like something like a PlayStation 4 Slim, like the slimmer revision of it.
Sure.
Right price, right selection of games.
Yeah, I guess I feel like looking at it in terms of like what has the best games for kids is like a very adult way to look at it versus like
exactly.
what kids are going to want the thing that is forbidden, like the thing adults get to play.
Sorta.
Like, and that's the PS4.
Yeah,
I think that depends
that's
on
the thing
if
he's
the
going to be
parents-
really pumped about when he unwraps it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the thing like you said, all the kids at school are talking about having a PS4. That's probably the way to go.
I think both that and the Xbox have a pretty wide library at this point. Like it's not necessarily that the games are explicitly for kids, but like a lot of the indie stuff and there are plenty of games out there that would be appropriate for kids.
Yes.
Now that I think about it.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
That said, like if he's got a bunch of friends that are already playing something, maybe go with that platform.
That would
as
be
well.
nice to know. Yeah,
Yeah.
if all his friends were Xbox people, you'd probably
Exactly.
want to get an Xbox.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
I
I don't know. I could see the portability of the Switch being maybe a factor for a kid to some degree. But
It's certainly an attractive option. But to really have that moment that this guy was describing, I have to think it's going to be something like the PlayStation or Xbox One.
Probably right.
Who knows? Like maybe the word on the playground is the Nintendo Switch.
True.
I remember back, it was the Nintendo 64 era when like that spread like wildfire. Nintendo's putting out a new console. It's gonna be $300. Look at this controller.
It's a nightmare.
Frame rate is terrible.
Anti-aliasing.
All that fog.
MIP mapping.
Yeah.
Have my eyes gone bad? Why is it so blurry?
Gotta sit closer.
Must get closer.
Email from Ryan. I've started rewatching the Fast and Furious movies, as have you guys. I stand by the fact that while it was an enjoyable movie and introduced a pretty awesome character in Han, Tokyo Drift is the weakest of the franchise. You guys and seemingly the entire internet feel differently. What is your reasoning behind putting Tokyo Drift so high?
It's a good ass movie.
In the ranking.
It's fun. It's a good time.
Okay. Strong selling points.
Yeah, no, it's like goofy fun. Like there's some parts of it that you look at and go, "Oh, it's so bad it's good," but like I legitimately like that movie.
Is that the one that was like a lot of the main cast was not in?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the third one where they were like, because in the second one, Vin Diesel wasn't in it.
Right. Was that just a low point where they're like, we're not sure if we're going to keep making these?
Right. Or it had like the feel of like a direct
video.
It was
almost
thing
direct
of like,
video.
oh, it's like kind of like they've put this other subtitle on it.
Yeah.
And
like brought in a bunch of B-listers because
it's kind of
the
weird.
budget was low.
But then for the one after that, they got everyone back together. And
was that the one? Was the fourth one the one where it just kind of like blew up and became?
5 was really where it like 4 is maybe the worst one. Second worst one. 2 is actually the worst one.
Okay.
But 4 is bad but important in that it kind of sets the stage for everything that is to come.
Okay.
Like 4 is where they really start to transition away from this is just about racing to this is like an action movie that has some cars.
And was 5 the one that just like you came
5
away
is the one
from
with the rock. 5 is the one that's just like, okay, this is
That was the one where you came away from the opening weekend just going like, holy,
yeah,
like this thing is gigantic
yeah,
now.
This thing is a crazy different thing, and now it has this like gigantic Ocean's 11 style ensemble cast, and it's just a heist movie, and yeah.
Is there one on the verge of coming out?
Yeah, it's
like isn't there like always one on the verge of coming out?
Something like that, yeah. Fate of the Furious is coming along
That's
here
the new
pretty
one?
soon,
Okay.
I believe.
Is the last one the one that was Paul Walker's last one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What is this, number 8?
Yeah.
Man.
8
8
of the Furious.
Of course,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Didn't have the marketing center in my brain turned on.
No,
It's good.
It's
I like
important.
it. The F8 as the logo.
Yeah, that's not
it's good.
bad. That's actually that's very
It's
good.
good.
That's very good. Max from Toronto. As someone who recently purchased a PS4 Pro to experience some Sony exclusives, mainly Horizon, Yakuza 0, Neo, and Last of Us Remastered, is it worth picking up and playing the Nathan Drake collection for Uncharted 1 to 3, or am I good just skipping ahead to Uncharted 4?
Oh man, yeah.
I would probably just go to 4.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
I know I
would do
personally
the
would.
same thing, yeah.
I didn't play Uncharted like I didn't play Mass Effect, but I did play 4.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was missing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty self-contained. Like, it introduces a lot of new stuff that wasn't even in the previous games. Like, you could...
If you want to play one of them of the 3,
But
I'd
you
play
don't
2.
want to play. I don't know, man. I don't know that is 2 even hold up that well these days.
holds
I don't
up
know.
okay.
I really like the story.
I went and played some of it last year when Cowboy came through to do that feature.
Mhm.
Like, I played a couple missions of it, and I'd say 2 probably still holds up the best of the 3 if you wanted to play one of them. But
I don't think you need
if you're
to.
only going to play one Uncharted, and I don't see a great reason to play
Yeah.
more than one,
yeah,
you should probably play 4.
you're gonna get everything out of 4 that you could get out of the other.
In fact,
3 and a lot more.
Playing 2 may diminish your enjoyment of 4.
Yeah,
Because it is
That's the
4
thing,
is
yes.
a lot of building on
a lot
previous
of
Uncharted.
a lot of 4 is a lot of stuff you've done a lot before. So yeah, I would probably just go to 4. Question from Nick. Jeff was talking on last week's Bombcast about the poor voice acting in the new Ghost Recon game. I was wondering if this is perhaps the first major game to have terrible voice acting as a result of the ongoing voice actor strike. I can imagine if all the union voice actors won't do any work for game companies, that would leave very few options for Ubisoft or other devs in picking their voice talent.
It's certainly possible, but that the game's been in development for so long, and that stuff has probably been recorded so long ago that I bet the timing doesn't quite line up.
Yeah,
it's possible, but I don't actually.
Yeah.
know.
It's hard to say.
It is hard to
Seems
say.
unlikely.
Yeah.
but
Maybe they did all the VO in France, and those were
Yeah,
the best
that's
like native
certainly-
English-speaking voice actors they could find.
definitely possible.
That can-
toi.
Oh no!
Yeah. All right.
This is a fuck stick.
I've got a title for this week's podcast now. Especially considering that was last week's title as well. All right, last email. Jesse writes in also about voice acting. I'm currently basking in the Zelda Breath of the Wild credits and noticed that there were only 7 English voice actors, but what looked like over 24 Japanese voice actors. Does anyone know if the Japanese version had more voice work or if the English voice actors just performed more roles?
I bet they just doubled and tripled up in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also assume the amount of every time you go up to somebody who doesn't actually have voice lines and talk to them and they go like, oh,
Yeah.
like just the amount of like guttural.
There you go.
like-
You just voiced 2 separate characters
totally.
in that game.
I assume all of those are just the Japanese voice actors.
Yes, you're probably right. Actually,
I
that's
bet
a good point.
every one of those
Yeah.
like non-verbal, verbal communications that you get out of the NPCs, I bet is all just straight out of the Japanese version.
I really want you to voice an anime.
Okay.
You got the chops. That was your resume right there.
Trying to think of some Japanese to throw out there. I'll come up with something. Put me on the spot here.
So doesn't it?
Yeah,
The
sure.
only Japanese you need to know to be an anime.
Right.
All right, that's it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Thank you guys for coming by.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter
Yeah, it was fun.
of GameSpot.com.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Drew
Mm-hmm.
of World Travels
Yes.
soon to come.
Yes.
It was clothmap.co.
Clothmap, or just Clothmap.
You'll find them.
Where are the business
Type it
starters?
into the internet.
Where are you going first?
Don't know yet.
Wait, you actually don't know yet, as opposed to you just won't tell us?
I've got some ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really,
Oh, again, it was like you gotta see what you've got to work with, right?
Yeah.
Before you can decide.
Yeah, and I want to hear from people.
Cool. Do you think you will end up in a lot of situations where, let's say, similar to the North Korea trip, where it's like not as simple as just buying a ticket and going there?
I have 2 lists.
Okay.
One where it is just that simple, and
Yeah.
one where it's not.
One where you need to like worry about where the embassy is.
Yeah.
When you go there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fun lists to make.
That sounds good.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's going to do it then for this week's edition of the Giant Bombcast. Thank you guys again for stopping by. We'll see you next week.